Chapter 2386. What? The hidden house pie works for Lin Yi. Qinlin wasn't a stranger to Lin Yi's name. Lingshan and Meng Yao had both mentioned him back in the police station, but she never would have thought that the hidden house pie worked for Lin Yi. Wasn't the hidden house pie the support of the Xiao family? How did they become Lin Yi's men? With that, Wang Xinyan's marriage would be settled, wouldn't it? Qinlin let out a breath of relief at the thought. And back then, I was saved by the hidden house pie's elder pie, but I didn't tell you or Dad because I wanted to keep it a secret. Xinyan couldn't hide it anymore. She needed to take out some chips for her own happiness. Is that so? I see. Xiao Qinlin sighed and said, Okay, I'll call your uncle now and tell him about the situation. Okay, thank you, Mom. Xinyan knew that things were going to work out, and she was happy. But Qinlin's prediction seemed to be a bit off. After she told Xiao Ji and Xiao Ben about it, they were shocked for a moment, but Xiao Ben didn't give a clear answer. He only said that he needed to discuss it with his brother first before making a decision. This surprised Qinlin, but she didn't say anything. She waited quietly for her brother's reply. After hanging up, Xiao Ben's eyebrows furrowed. Xiao Ji, on the other hand, was an impatient man. Brother, if Lin Yi is the hidden house pie's boss, then he's our backer's backer. There's no harm in getting on good terms with him. Why don't you agree to cancel the marriage? Cancel the marriage? You want our Xiao family to be Lin Yi's lackeys? Xiao Ji, I think you're crazy. Did you forget that Lin Yi is our Xiao family's #1 enemy? You're an idiot. Go Huli screamed before Xiao Ben could say anything. She didn't want the Xiao family to give in to Lin Yi. Hadn't she lost enough face in front of Lin Yi? One had to admit that this woman was quite vengeful, especially a woman like Go Huli. Once you started to hate someone, it would be to the point of making your hair stand on end. Pa! Xiao Ji heard Huli scream and gave her a big slap. What are you yelling for, you useless bitch? Who are you to make decisions for the Xiao family? You hit me? Xiao Ji, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family. How dare you hit me? Go Huli held her swollen face and cried. Damn it. If you call me that again, I'll hit you again. Xiao Ji said angrily. Big brother, don't be angry. Xiao Ben waved his hand to stop Xiao Ji's violence. Sister-in-law isn't wrong. Don't be agitated. She's right. Xiao family won't get any benefits if we give in to Lin, yo? Xiao Ji paused. If Xinyan marries Lin, wouldn't our Xiao family depend on Lin Yi? Even the hidden house pie depends on Lin Yi. This means that Lin Yi has a lot of potential. This is good for the development of our Xiao family. Big brother, you're too naive. Xiao Ben said. You're right, but have you thought about it? How big is the hatred between our Xiao family and Lin Yi? From the beginning, our Xiao family has always been against Lin Yi. We've hit him when he's down. It's already at an irreconcilable stage. That, Xiao Ji hesitated. Then if we marry Xinyan to Lin Yi, wouldn't we become relatives with Lin Yi? Relatives? Xiao Ben laughed coldly. You treat Lin Yi as a relative, but will he treat you as one? We've heard about what happened in the hidden house Tang from the hidden house you. Did Lin Yi give face to Tang Yan's father? Did he give face to her grandfather? He's her biological father. What are we? We're not even close to him. That, Xiao Ji thought about it. His brother was right, but he still hoped for luck. Didn't Wu Qintian and the hidden house pie have conflicts with Lin Yi before? Didn't you get Lin Yi's trust now? I don't know if the hidden house pie is on Lin Yi's side or not, but it doesn't matter. Wu Qintian, too. Did he have a direct conflict with Lin Yi? Did it cause any serious consequences? Xiao Ben waved his hand and said no. Qintian and house pie actually didn't have much of a conflict with Lin Yi. It was just that they didn't get along. But there is no way our Xiao family would draw their swords against each other. For example, Zhao Qibing of the hidden house, Zhao, Xie Yufeng of the common house Yu. These people had a grudge with Lin Yi. Do you think there's any way to resolve it? The common house Yu was destroyed by Lin Yi, and the hidden house Zhao Qibing almost lost his life a couple of times. Do you think Lin Yi would let us, who aren't good relatives of Wang Xinyan, live with us? That Xiao Ji didn't have much of a brain, but after Xiao Ben's analysis, he felt that it was possible. After all, the The Xiao family and Lin Yi had a huge grudge. When Lin Yi was injured, the Xiao family had jumped out to add insult to injury. Would Lin Yi let them go so easily? Then, can't we ask the hidden house Pai for mercy? Xiao Ji said after some hesitation. Ask for mercy? Do you think the hidden house Pai would care about us after joining Lin Yi? Even Wu Chuntian wouldn't care about us after joining Lin Yi, let alone the high and mighty hidden house Pai. Do you think the hidden house Pai would care about us? Xiao Ben shook his head. We're just a money-making tool for the hidden house Pai. Now that the hidden house Pai has joined Lin Yi's side, and Wu Chuntian is Lin Yi's follower, the hidden house Pai and Lin Yi would be doing business with Wu Chuntian. Would they even consider us? That's true. Xiao Ji nodded. Even if we let Wang Xinyan follow Lin Yi, we wouldn't be able to get on Lin Yi's good side. Lin Yi would still ignore us, and the Xiao family's position would still be in danger. But if we force Lin Yi to marry Zhao Long, wouldn't we be going against Lin Yi? Wouldn't Lin Yi destroy us in a fit of rage? If he wanted to, he would have done it a long time ago. The reason why he hasn't is probably because we're Wang Xinyan's uncle's son, so we don't have to be afraid of anything. Xiao Ben said, at that time, when the hidden Tang family broke off with Lin Yi and Tang Yun, I didn't see Lin Yi do anything. Xiao Ben was right. Lin Yi didn't do anything to the hidden house Pai, but it wasn't because he didn't want to, but because he wasn't their opponent. Chapter 2387. Xiao Ben neglected this important point. How could the Xiao family be compared to the hidden house Tang? But if we force Xinyan to marry Zhao Long, will Lin Yi retaliate? Even if he doesn't, won't the hidden house Pai do it? Xiao Ji asked worriedly. This actually has nothing to do with the Xiao family. We can just kick the ball to House Kong. I don't think they'll agree to cancel the marriage, right? Xiao Ben smiled darkly. Of course, we'll add oil to the fire and stir up House Kang's emotions. They have the hidden house Yu as their backing, and they're very arrogant. When the time comes, our Xiao family will join the hidden house Yu as well, and the hidden house Pai won't work. All right, we'll listen to you, brother. Xiao Ji nodded. What Xiao Ji said was not wrong. During this period of time, the Kong family's confidence had indeed swelled to its peak. The reason was simple. Kong Ming, who said he was helping the hidden house Yu with something, suddenly sent a message saying that he wasn't actually helping the hidden house Yu, but that the ancient sect Sky Elixir had chosen him to help them with something. Although Kong Ming didn't say what he was helping the Sky Elixir sect with, Elder Kong could hear the sense of superiority in Kong Ming's words. Kong Ming must be doing quite well, or else he wouldn't have made a call like this. Kong Xiaoming was doing quite well. After he was brought back to Sky Elixir School, the old head of Sky Elixir School, 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 Sky Elixir School. The Flaming Yang pill was a level 3 pill, and it wasn't easy to make. You might not succeed even after a few tries, and it was very exhausting. This was also why Tianyi wouldn't easily agree to make the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill for Bingtang. If he had the time and energy, he wouldn't even be able to make some level 3 pills for his own family, let alone someone else. Naturally, that was impossible. Even the reward of the Heavenly Elixir School's trial test clearly stated that the reward could be a 3rd-grade elixir pill of the Heavenly Elixir School, but one could not ask the Heavenly Elixir School to refine a 3rd-grade elixir pill for them. If there was no 3rd-grade elixir pill that the trial taker needed, they could use other heavenly treasures instead. This was enough to explain how difficult it was to make a level 3 pill. Of course, most of the 3rd-grade elixir pills in the Heavenly Elixir sect were not refined by the people of heaven and earth. Instead, they were refined by Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother. Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother was an alchemist, and his standards were higher than Heaven and Earth Man's. However, Heaven and Earth Man did not dare to ask exactly how high he was. Of course, if it was, Tianyi's sect senior was in close training. Heaven and Earth Man would definitely ask Patriarch Xuanqin's senior brother to help him refine a 3rd-grade elixir, but there was no other way. He could only do it personally. Things were settled. Kong Ming Ming was allowed to make a call home, and when Kong Ming Ming told Dr. Kong everything, Dr. Kong was surprised and happy. He didn't expect that his grandson, whom he didn't think highly of, would once again bring him an unparalleled surprise. With that, Miracle Dr. Kong gathered all the members of the house and held a family meeting. When Dr. Kong told Kong Guifeng, Kong Suapu, and Kong Xiaolong about Kong Ming Ming's current situation, the three of them were a little dumbfounded and felt that it was unbelievable. They didn't expect it. Kong Ming Ming was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect to help them. This was a great honor. No one in the Kong family was stupid. The Hidden Yu family was such a powerful alchemy family, but no one was chosen by the Sky Elixir sect. Instead, Kong Ming Ming was taken away to help. This meant that the help was definitely not simple, and only Kong Ming Ming could help. Therefore, everyone in the Kong family understood one thing. The Kong family's meteoric rise was imminent. Relying on the ancient sect, it wasn't impossible for the Kong family to directly upgrade to a hidden family. Although Xiaoming didn't say it explicitly this time, the hint was clear enough. He is highly valued in the Sky Elixir sect, learning alchemy from the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Although he only said to help the Sky Elixir sect with one thing and didn't say what it was, his identity as the fifth elder's disciple is enough to make his identity incomparably prominent. Dr. Kong said, "Everyone think about it. Even the Hidden Yu family doesn't have this treatment, but Xiaoming did it. Our Kong family's future really needs to be planned carefully." Yeah, I didn't think that this kid Xiaoming would bring us so many surprises recently. When Kong Guifeng said this, his emotions were complicated. He was both envious and happy, but most of all, he was relieved. Kong Ming Ming went to the Sky Elixir sect and became their disciple. It was basically impossible for him to return to the Kong family. Even if the small Kong family was upgraded to a hidden family, it was nothing to Kong Ming Ming. His position in the Sky Elixir sect and the head of the Kong family were two completely different concepts. So with this, it was impossible for Kong Ming Ming to fight with Xiaolong for the position of the head of the house. This was a good thing. Xiaolong, naturally, understood this as well. This Kong Xiaoming's luck was just too good. He'd worked so hard, but he'd still have to rely on Kong Xiaoming's whims in the future. Even if he became the head of House Kong, the entire House Kong would still have to listen to him. "Grandpa, this is a good opportunity for us Kong family. If we grasp it well, we can form a relationship with the Sky Elixir sect and become a hidden house." Xiaolong was excited. Although he still had to rely on Kong Ming Ming in the future, if he could become the young master of a hidden house, it would be completely different from his current position. Xiaolong is right. Our pharmaceutical company is currently suffering quite a blow, but if we can form a relationship with the Heavenly Elixir sect and use the Heavenly Elixir sect route, we can act as an agent to sell some elixirs and treasures of heaven and earth, just like the Hidden Yu family. When that time comes, we will be rolling in money. Dr. Kong nodded. "Guifeng, our business with Dr. Kang's medicine company is almost finished. We're not making much money now anyway. If we can sell it, we'll sell it. We'll plan for the future." Chapter 2388. "Yes, Father." Kong Guifeng nodded. Dr. Kang's medical company was barely hanging on. After being attacked by Lin Yi, there wasn't much business at all. It was just that House Kong had been passive all this time and hadn't found any suitable new business, so they had been dragging it on. Now that Kong Ming Ming had become a refiner, even if the failed pills were brought to House Kong and sold to normal practitioners, such as bodyguards of wealthy merchants, it would still be a huge fortune. House Yu wasn't too willing to do this kind of low-end business, so House Kong could fill this gap in the market. "Yes, does anyone have any suggestions?" "Let's hear it together," Dr. Kong asked. "Grandpa, about my marriage with Wang Xinyan." Xiaolong hesitated and asked. He was a very utilitarian person. Although he felt that Wang Xinyan wasn't bad, and he was drooling over her beauty, if he had to compare it with his family's interests, he could give up on her beauty. "Yes, Father, shouldn't Xiaolong break off the engagement and find a better one? Like the daughters of other hidden houses?" Kong Guifeng was also a very snobbish person, so he asked. Break off the engagement? Stupid. Dr. Kong snorted and said, Xiao family's Wang Xinyan. Your marriage with her should be done as it should be. Not only can you not break off the engagement, but you must also try your best to make this marriage happen. Oh, why is that? Kong Guifeng was stunned. He didn't expect his father to say this. Guifeng, we, House Kong, suffered a great loss because we went back on our words last time. Dr. Kong waved his hand and said with a serious expression, Last time, it was because we were too eager for success and went back on our words that we almost lost the chance to build a relationship with House Yu. If it wasn't for the Xiao family helping us, we wouldn't have been able to build a relationship with the hidden House Yu. So, it's all thanks to the Xiao family that our House Kong is where we are today. Luckily, the Xiao family didn't mind. Otherwise, our Kong family will really decline. Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong froze, but they nodded. They had to admit that Dr. Kong was right. And this time, Xiaoming's success is because of the hidden Yu family. As the saying goes, don't forget the one who dug the well when you drink water. Our Kong family will never break off the engagement with the Xiao family because of this. Not only that, we must also try our best to facilitate this marriage. Dr. Kong saw that Kong Guifeng and Kong Xiaolong were listening, so he continued. From your point of view, it's more beneficial for us to marry into the hidden houses. But do you think that with our family's current situation, those hidden houses would really look at us? Yes, we have the support of the Heavenly Elixir sect. But how many hidden families don't have the support of an ancient sect? Just look at the hidden house Yu and the hidden house Pi. These old hidden houses had the shadow of the ancient level behind them. If we marry them, will they even look at us? What's more, if our Kong family breaks the engagement, in their eyes, we'll become treacherous people. If we did it once, can't there be a second time? Let me make a bold guess. If Kong Ming becomes an elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, wouldn't our Kong family's position be above the hidden houses? At that time, would we break the engagement and marry into an ancient sect or an ancient house? Our Kong family's reputation would be ruined by then. So you're saying that our family will continue to work with the Xiao family and maintain our friendship? Kong Guifeng asked carefully. That's right. Not only do we need to maintain our friendship with the Xiao family, but we also need to use this opportunity to extend an olive branch and bring the Xiao family into our business. We'll get rich together. Dr. Kong said, These few business failures have made me understand some things. Our Kong family was too selfish in the past. But now, we need to change this bad habit. We need to let people see that those who helped us, after our Kong family becomes strong, will repay them with even a drop of water. Grandpa, I understand what you're trying to say. Xiaolong nodded thoughtfully. You're trying to tell us that as our Kong family gets stronger and stronger, we need to pay more attention to our reputation. It's good that you understand, Xiaolong. Miracle Dr. Kong nodded. Your marriage isn't important anymore. As long as Xiaoming is here, we can't fall. Instead of marriage alliance, why don't you just follow Xiaoming? That's better than anything else. Of course, Xiaolong, don't think too much about it. Xiaoming may be doing better than you, but when you become the head of the house, your position will be much higher than before. Yes. Xiaolong nodded quickly. He'd thought this through long ago. Even if he still had to lower his head in front of Kong Ming, there was no other way. Kong Ming was a member of the Heavenly Elixir sect, not just his little brother, and he'd gotten a lot of benefits from this. As they were talking, the phone beside Old Kang's hand rang. Old Kong looked at the caller ID and, after a slight surprise, he picked up the phone with a smile. Hello, head of house Yu. Old Kong, just call me Old Yu from now on. Why are you calling me head of the house? It's too formal. Old Yu laughed and said politely. Hee. Then I'll do as you say. Old Kong was also a sly old fox. He immediately understood the purpose of Old Yu's call. He was trying to rope in his family. In the past, when the hidden house Yu called the Kong family, it was always with a master's commanding tone. It was never this polite. But today, Old Yu changed his attitude and spoke to him in a tone of equality. Old Kong knew that the Yu family had received the news. Old Kong, congratulations. Your grandson is valued by the Heavenly Elixir sect and has become the 5th elder's proud disciple. In the future, when he becomes successful and becomes the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect, don't forget to remind our House Yu. Old Yu obviously knew more than Old Kong, since Kong Ming Ming could clearly release the news that he had become the fifth elder's disciple, and the celestial being had personally refined the elixir. It showed that Kong Ming Ming was going to be successful in the future. If he really refined the bone-washing pill, then Kong Ming Ming would become the fifth elder's successor and become the next elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. This was basically a matter of fact. Therefore, even Old Yu had to be moved and build a good relationship with the Kong family in advance. An elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect was a high existence in front of the Hidden House Yu. It could even directly determine the status of the House Yu in front of the Heavenly Elixir sect. How could Old Yu not pay attention to it? Hee, you flatter me. Zhao Ming is still young. He is just a little disciple. He is too far away from becoming an elder. Although Old Kong said so, his heart jumped. Carrot dash happy face dash carrot. Chapter 2389. Obviously, the Hidden Yu family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, Old Man Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Ming Ming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing. But now, after listening to Old Man Yu's words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Ming Ming didn't have any development, Old Man Yu wouldn't call him with such a low profile. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Zhao Ming is the fifth elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Ming Ming's luck to be so good. He actually became the fifth elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for Old Man Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Ming Ming was so bad *SS. Hee. Old Man Yu. Keep a low profile. Zhao Ming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood. Old Man Yu said with a smile. Oh yeah, I heard that Zhao Ming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah, Xiaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said, What's the matter? My grandson, Yupan Hu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also bossed by his disciple. They can get closer in the future. Old Man Yu said, All right, it's easier for young people to communicate together. Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the Hidden Yu family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, Old Man Yu had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. That's good. Old Man Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch. Old Man Yu said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was fluctuating. He still underestimated Kong Ming Ming's status. It seemed that Kong Ming Ming was now one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Guifeng, Kong Tsuapu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, Zhao Ming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our House Kong is really amazing this time. Father, what did the hidden old master you say? Kong Guifeng asked quickly. Old Man Yu said that Zhao Ming has a high position in the Heavenly Elixir sect and is the fifth elder's last disciple. It's very likely that he will become an elder in the future. Miracle Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Zhao Ming might have been modest and didn't say much, but House Yu's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. Future elders. Kong Guifeng and others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong had said similar words before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words coming from the Yu family was completely different. Yes, an Old Man Yu said that his grandson, Yupan Hu, is also in Donghai Industry University's biomedical faculty. Xiaolong, go find him and get closer to him. Dr. Kong said, Okay, Grandpa. Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. Clenching his fists tightly, he never thought that he would one day successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, be domineering in the future and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Xiaoming. Xiaoming represents the heavenly elixir sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble. Don't be afraid of trouble now, but don't take the initiative to stir up trouble. After all, every move we make may be watched by others. I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't go looking for trouble. Xiaolong nodded. Go Feng, tell this news to your in-laws, Xiao family. Let them be happy. Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. Okay, I'll make the call now. Kong Guifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Guifeng looked at the caller ID and froze, because the person who called was Xiao Bin from the Xiao family. Speak of the devil, and he will appear. Hello, I'm Kong Guifeng. Kong Guifeng picked up the phone. Xiao Bin bro, why are you calling me all of a sudden? Haha. Kong bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To tell you the truth, there's some conflict in my family. Xiao Bin said. Oh, family conflict? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family? Kong Guifeng paused. There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help. Xiao Bin smiled bitterly. Related to House Kong? Then what is it? Kong Guifeng didn't know what was going on. It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage. Xiao Bin said. Wang Xinyan has some problems. Problems? Kong Guifeng frowned, anger rising in his heart. I say, Xiao Bin, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again? Kong Guifeng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel the marriage? This was simply humiliating the Kong family. Kong bro, please calm down. How can we cancel the marriage? Xiao Bin said quickly. Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Guifeng felt much better after hearing Xiao Bin's explanation, especially when it came to following Kong Guifeng's lead. Ma'am, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school. Xiao Bin said bitterly. Xiao Bin, what do you mean? She's engaged and she likes someone else? Kong Guifeng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Kong bro, that's impossible. Xiao Bin explained. You know that our Xiao family has been trying to make this marriage happen. But the problem is that your son Xiaolong isn't doing well. He's already engaged to Xinyan, and the two of them should be in contact more often. Xinyan wouldn't have the chance to fall in love with someone else, but your son hasn't shown up for a while now. Isn't that giving others a chance to take advantage of her? Chapter 2390. Obviously, the Hidden You family's information channel was better than the Kong family. However, Old Master Kong was very excited after listening to it. Can Kong Ming Ming really become the next elder? Previously, he was just fantasizing and guessing, but now after listening to Old Master use words, the thoughts in his heart were a little different. After all, if Kong Ming Ming didn't have any development, Old Master you wouldn't call on such a low profile to build a relationship. You're being modest. You can't say that. I heard that Zhao Ming is the fifth elder's last disciple. His future is limitless. Old Master you said with a smile. Dr. Kong was even more surprised. He didn't expect Kong Ming Ming's luck to be so good. He actually became the fifth elder's last disciple. He didn't say anything about this. If it weren't for Old Master Yu's phone call, Dr. Kong wouldn't know that Kong Ming Ming was so bad ***. Old Master Yu. Keep a low profile. Zhao Ming is still young. It's not easy to be praised too much. Understood, understood. Old Master you said with a smile. Oh yeah, I heard that Zhao Ming's brother is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. Yeah, Xiaolong is going back to write his doctoral thesis these few days. Dr. Kong said, what's the matter? My grandson, Yu Pan Hu, is also majoring in biomedicine at Donghai Industry University. He is also bossed by his disciple. They can get closer in the future. Old master, you said. All right, it's easier for young people to communicate together. Dr. Kong sighed. If it were in the past, the Hidden You family would never bother with the Kong family. The two weren't on the same level at all. But now, Old Master, you had obviously regarded the Kong family as an equal partner. That's good. Old Master Kong, you continue with your work. I don't have anything else to call. I just want to get in touch. Old Master, you said. After hanging up the phone, Dr. Kang's heart was in turmoil. He still underestimated Kong Ming's status. It seemed that Kong Ming was definitely one of the important figures in Heavenly Elixir Sect. The Kong family was really going to be awesome. Looking at Kong Guifeng, Kong Suapu, and Kong Xiaolong, Dr. Kong said, Xiaoming's luck this time has exceeded our expectations. Our House Kong is really amazing this time. Father, what did the hidden old master you say? Kong Guifeng asked quickly. Old man, you said that Xiaoming's position in the Heavenly Elixir Sect is very high. He's the fifth elder's last disciple and is very likely to be a future elder. Miracle Dr. Kong didn't hide anything. These things were all very beneficial to House Kong. Xiaoming might have been modest and didn't say much, but House Yu's information network is much better than ours. They're already trying to get on our good side. Future elders? Kong Guifeng and the others were shocked. Although Dr. Kong said something similar before, it was just speculation and analysis. The effect of these words, coming from a Yu family, was completely different. Yes, an old man you said that his grandson, Yu Panhu, is also studying in East Ocean Industry University's biomedical department. Xiaolong, you should go find him and get closer to him. Dr. Kong said, Okay, Grandpa. Xiaolong took a deep breath and clenched his fists. He never thought that there would be a day where he would successfully raise his status to the level of a young master of a hidden house. This status was something that he could only dream of in the past, but he got it so easily and unexpectedly. He was very excited. Remember, in the future, you must be domineering and don't embarrass House Kong. Don't embarrass Xiaoming. Xiaoming represents the Heavenly Elixir Sect. Dr. Kong was very confident this time. But our House Kong is not afraid of trouble now. But we shouldn't actively cause trouble. After all, our every move can be watched by others. I understand, Grandpa. Don't worry, I won't actively cause trouble. Xiaolong nodded. Guifeng, tell this news to your in-laws, Xiao family. Let them be happy. Dr. Kang's tone was calm, but it was obvious that he wanted to show off. Okay, I'll make the call now. Kong Guifeng's phone rang before he could make the call. Kong Guifeng looked at the caller ID and froze. The person who called was Xiao Ben from the Xiao family. Speak of the devil, and he's here. Hello, I'm Kong Guifeng. Kong Guifeng picked up the phone. Xiao Ben, bro. Why are you calling me all of a sudden? Haha. Kong, bro, I'm really sorry to call you this time. To be honest, there's some conflict in my family. Xiao Ben said. Oh, conflict in your family? Why are you calling me if it's a conflict in the Xiao family? Kong Guifeng paused. There's a saying that even an upright official can't solve a family conflict. I can't interfere, can I? It's actually related to House Kong. That's why I'm calling for help. Xiao Ben smiled bitterly. Related to House Kong? Then what is it? Kong Guifeng didn't know what was going on. It's about Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's marriage. Xiao Ben said, Wang Xinyan's side has some problems. Problems? Kong Guifeng frowned, anger welling up in his heart. I say, Xiao Ben, are you trying to say that your Xiao family wants to cancel the marriage again? Kong Guifeng couldn't be blamed for his anger. House Kong was so powerful now that they didn't go to the Xiao family to cancel the marriage. How could he not be angry when Xiao family called them to cancel marriage? This was a slap to House Kang's face. Kong bro, please calm down. How could we cancel the marriage? Xiao Ben quickly said, Kong bro, you know that our Xiao family has been following House Kang's lead. Then what is it? Kong Guifeng felt much better after hearing Xiao Ben's explanation, especially when he heard that they were following the lead. It made Kong Guifeng feel much better. Sai, my sister just called. She said that Wang Xinyan doesn't want to get engaged anymore. She wants to cancel the marriage because she likes someone else in school. Xiao Bin said bitterly. Xiao Bin, what's the meaning of this? You're engaged, but you still like someone else? Kong Gui Feng frowned again. Are you messing with us? Chapter 2391. It takes two hands to clap. Kong Gui Feng snorted coldly. However, the Kong family had been busy with the company's affairs a while ago. Xiaolong was also busy with the company's affairs. How could he have the mood to be in a relationship? Therefore, Kong Gui Feng really couldn't refute what Xiao Bin said. However, Xiao Bin's words about Xiaolong not working hard made him very angry. He thought to himself, why is my son not working hard? Anyway, I will definitely not agree to it. Xiao Bin said, I strongly rejected my sister's proposal. This is a big matter that our two families have discussed. How can we change it just like that? Brother Kong, I'm actually reminding nephew Xiaolong out of kindness. If his wife is taken away by someone else, it will be a disgrace to the Kong family. What is the status of the Kong family? She is the representative of the hidden house of Yu. Yes, this matter must not happen. The Kong family can't afford to lose this face. If the daughter-in-law of our Kong family is taken away by someone else, how will the Kong family survive in the future? Kong Gui Feng said indignantly. However, Brother Xiao, your words are different. Our Kong family is no longer the representative of the hidden house of Yu. Not anymore. Xiao Bin was stunned. He didn't understand what Kong Gui Feng meant. Could it be that the Kong family and the hidden house of Yu had a conflict? Kong Ming of our Kong family is currently accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. He is also one of the future elders of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Kong Gui Feng said proudly. So, our Kong family may be a hidden family in the future. At present, we have a similar relationship with the House of Yu. We are both under the Heavenly Elixir sect. What? Xiao Bin heard Kong Gui Feng's words and suddenly widened his eyes. He never thought that Kong Ming of the Kong family was so powerful that he was accepted as the last disciple of the fifth elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect and the future elder of the Heavenly Elixir sect. Isn't this too amazing? However, when Xiao Bin came back to his senses, he didn't think that Kong Gui Feng was lying at all. After all, who would dare to joke about such things? Thinking of this, Xiao Bin was a little excited. He was smart and didn't compromise with Lin Yi. Otherwise, the Xiao family would be finished. How powerful was the Heavenly Elixir sect? That was a very powerful sect in the ancient times. It would be a piece of cake for them to destroy the Xiao family. He had made the right bet this time. If he followed the Kong family in the future, he wouldn't have to worry about not having a meteoric rise. Congratulations, Brother Kong. From now on, I'll call you the Hidden Kong family's young master. Xiao Bin immediately said, flatteringly, Young Master Kong, from now on, our Xiao family will follow you. If you have any errands to run, don't forget us. Sure, Kong Gui Feng said, feeling a little smug. Right, let's talk about Wang Xinyan first. What's going on? Wang Xinyan, right? The person she likes is the enemy of your Kong family. Xiao Bin said, gritting his teeth. That person is Lin Yi. If it was someone else, they might be able to tolerate it, but Lin Yi can't, can he? Your Kong family's company went bankrupt because of Lin Yi. Can you? You're the representatives of the ancient sects now, the future hidden house. How can you let a little bastard bully you? Can you? We didn't dare to mess with Lin Yi before, but now we have Kong Ming, Xiaolong's brother. Can you? Can Kong Ming just watch his sister-in-law be taken away? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Can you? Kong Gui Feng said angrily. You and House Kong have an irreconcilable enmity. Brother Xiao, don't you worry. We'll get to the bottom of this. We, the Kong family, must fight for our honor. Yeah, this is a slap in the face. Xiao Bin said. Most importantly, Lin Yi is in the wrong. We can't let this go. Okay, I understand, but you should restrain your Wang Xinyan as well. She's engaged, so you need to be more careful, Kong Gui Feng said. Of course I understand. Xiao Bin nodded. Don't worry, Kong bro. Kong Guifeng hung up and told Dr. Kong, Suipu, and Xiaolong what Xiao Ben told him. Suipu and Xiaolong were very agitated, thinking that they couldn't just let this go. This was a slap in the face, and they had to fight for it. Father, we can't just let this go. Lin Yi bullied us before, and we didn't have anyone to back us up. Now that we have someone to back us up, how can we let him bully us? Xiaolong had long since treated Wang Xinyan as his private property. He was already pissed when Lin Yi destroyed Dr. Kang's medical company, and now Lin Yi stole his woman. No matter how cunning he was, he couldn't hold it in anymore. But Dr. Kang's expression was very calm. He waved his hand at the angry Xiaolong. Xiaolong, don't be angry. Xiao family might not have good intentions. Dr. Kong was a snobbish man, but he was also a cunning and sinister man. He could tell from Xiao Ben's call that Xiao family might not have good intentions. Oh, father, what do you mean? Kong Guifeng paused. Xiao family is trying to maximize their benefits. If Wang Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, it wouldn't benefit Xiao family at all. Dr. Kong said, Xiao family and Lin Yi are mortal enemies, and it's unlikely that they'll be able to resolve it. If Xinyan were to follow Lin Yi, Xiao family and House Kang's relationship would fall apart. To them, it's more harm than good, but they don't want to mess with Lin Yi, so they're kicking the ball to us, instigating you on the phone to make us go against Lin Yi. That's... Kong Guifeng listened to Dr. Kang's analysis and thought through some of the problems. Then shouldn't we just sit back and watch the tigers fight? Of course not. No matter what, Wang Xinyan is our daughter-in-law. If Lin Yi were to take her away, it'd be a disgrace to House Kong, and it'd be a stain on Xiaoming's name. The hidden house Yu would laugh at us too. Dr. Kong waved his hand. Right now, House Kang's reputation is very important. If we cause any bad news and the Sky Elixir sect finds out, it'll very likely hinder our path to becoming a top hidden house. Then, Father, you're saying that we should go against Lin Yi? But with our current strength, we can't do that. Kong Guifeng asked carefully. Chapter 2392. Kong Guifeng, Kong Suipu, and Kong Xiaolong's expressions changed after hearing Dr. Kang's analysis. But Dr. Kong didn't give them the chance to speak. Before Xiaoming has a firm foothold, we shouldn't get into a big conflict with our enemies. Let Xiaolong go and get Xinyan back from Lin Yi's hands. Lin Yi is a playboy with so many girlfriends, he might not be true to Xinyan. Xiaolong still has an advantage. Plus, weren't you getting along well with Xinyan back in Yinjing? Well, we were good back then, but we haven't seen each other for a while now. Xiaolong didn't expect Lin Yi and Xinyan to be together. Was there something wrong with Xinyan? Lin Yi had Tang Yun, Feng Xiao, and that Guan Xin whom he had an unclear relationship with. What was this Xinyan doing? How about this? Xinyan is in Donghai Industry University's biology major, Boss Bai's class. Yupanhu is there too. You go there and listen in. While you're building a good relationship with Panhu, you can get in touch with Xinyan and get her back for me. Dr. Kong said, there's an important rule in Boss Bai's class. Students can't fight to the death, but dirty tricks are allowed. Lin, he won't be able to do anything to you. All right. Xiaolong used to be Boss Bai's student, so he naturally knew about Boss Bai's rules. He also knew that Boss Bai's status was very high, and that Lin, he wouldn't do anything rash. He wasn't afraid of starting a feud with Lin Yi because Lin Yi wouldn't do anything to him. In Xiaolong's mind, Lin Yi was a martial artist with no intelligence. He was a violent maniac. As for the attack on Dr. Kang's medical company, while Lin Yi was involved, Xiaolong believed that while Lin Yi was Fatty Lai's boss, Fatty Lai was still the one doing the work. The prescription was made by Guan Xueming, and Lin Yi didn't know anything about business. Taking a step back, even if Lin Yi and Xueming were the ones who came up with the recipe, Lin Yi only had some medical knowledge. When it came to scheming, Xiaolong didn't lose to anyone. After House Kong made their decision, Guifeng called Xiao Ben back and told him about House Kang's decision. Xiao Ben, on the other hand, told Xiao Ji about House Kang's latest movements. Brother, you're the best. You're far-sighted. Xiao Ji heard that House Kang's Kong Ming was accepted as a disciple by the fifth elder of Sky Elixir sect, and that he had a chance to become an elder of Sky Elixir sect in the future. He sighed. If it wasn't for Xiao Ben's persistence, Xiao family would have been done for. Haha, brother, this is a great opportunity. If House Kong becomes strong, then our Xiao family status will rise as well. Xiao Ben smiled. It was good enough for us to protect our status as noble houses, but now hidden noble houses are waving at us. Haha, of course. But Wang Xinyan, she better not get into trouble. Xiao Ji said worriedly. If something really happens between her and that little bastard Lin Yi, then Xiao family will lose the chance to be rich and powerful. Yeah, I've already instigated House Kong to make a move, but we need to warn Xinyan in advance. Don't let her do anything immoral. Xiao Ben nodded. If nothing happens between her and Lin Yi, House Kong won't give up, but if she's a slut, then Xiaolong won't bother. Compared to that, marrying a slut is even more shameful. Yes, then how should we tell Xiao Qinlin? Xiao Ji was even more worried after hearing this. What if we warn her and it backfires? That won't happen. I'll tell her. Xiao Ben had an idea. All right, I'll leave it to you, brother. You're the brains of our family. Xiao Ji let out a breath of relief when he heard that Xiao Ben had an idea. Xiao Ben dialed Qinlin's number again, and Qinlin was anxiously waiting for Xiao family's reply. Qinlin, it's your brother, Xiao Ben. Xiao Ben said after the call went through. Brother, how is it? Can we break off the engagement? Qinlin asked quickly. Qinlin, it's not that I want to lecture you, but marriage is a big deal. We're already engaged to House Kong. If we break off the engagement now, the consequences will be severe, Xiao Ben said with a heavy heart. Brother, I know it's a little troublesome, but Xinyan has spoken, and I've discussed it with her father. Ever since Xinyan was kidnapped, we've realized that Xinyan is the most important thing. Everything else is just worldly possessions. Qinlin said, we don't need our company anymore. We can give it to you or House Kong. It doesn't matter if we have nothing, as long as Xinyan is happy. Xiao Ben was startled. He didn't expect Qinlin to be so resolute this time. She even wanted to give up the company? Originally, he wanted to use the company to threaten Qinlin, but it seemed impossible now. However, Xiao Ben wasn't called the brains of his family for nothing. He immediately had another idea. Qinlin, it's not about the company anymore. It's about whether House Kong can let Xiao family go, and you and Xinyan go. So what if they don't? Qinlin said firmly. We don't want a company anymore. What else can they do? It's not something that can be solved just because you say you don't want it. Xiao Ben paused, then said, Qinlin, if Xinyan and Lin Yi are together, she and Lin Yi will both die. Do you believe it? Qinlin was stunned. Die? How can they die? No matter how overbearing the Kong family is, they can't just kill people, right? That was before. Xiao Ben shook his head. There are some things you don't know yet. House Kang's Kong Ming Ming, Xiaolong's younger brother, has caught the eye of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, one of the biggest ancient sections. He's been taken in as his last disciple, the future elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Now that House Kong has the protection of the Sky Elixir sect, do you think Kong Ming Ming will let it go if he finds out that his sister-in-law was seduced? If he brings a few masters from the Sky Elixir sect, it'll be the end of our sect. Don't think that just because Lin Yi has some martial arts and has the support of the Hidden House Pi, he's nothing in the eyes of the ancient sects. Chapter 2393. But the legendary ancient sect had accepted Kong Ming Ming as a disciple, and Kong Ming Ming could even become an elder of the Sky Elixir sect. Qinlin couldn't digest all of this at once. It was too surreal. It was unrealistic to say that House Kong could destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao, but it should be easy for an ancient sect to destroy Lin Yi and House Xiao. They could destroy them with a snap of their fingers. Even a hidden house was very powerful in Qinlin's eyes, let alone an ancient sect. If it weren't for the head of the Hidden House Pi, Wang Xinyan wouldn't even be alive right now. And so, Qinlin was dumbfounded. Qinlin, I'm doing this for the good of the Xiao family, and I don't want anything to happen to Xinyan. As for that little bastard Lin Yi, I'd be happy if he got rid of him. Xiao Ben was playing hard to get, but if Kong Ming Ming from the Sky Elixir sect comes out and takes out Lin Yi, Xin Yan might not be in a good position. Think about it. In his eyes, marrying Lin Yi's woman back to House Kong would be a slap in the face. Getting rid of them was the best way. It was the least shameful way to solve the problem. In the end, our Xiao family, you and I will both die. It's that serious. Xiao Qinlin was quite frightened, because what Xiao Ben said was too frightening. Yes, it's very serious. Xiao Ben said, this is actually very easy to prove. You don't have to doubt it. Kong Xiaolong will be going to Xin Yan's class to listen in these few days. According to the Hidden House Yu's request, Yu Panu has to get close to Kong Xiaolong, and Xin Yan will be able to see him in a few days. Ah, that. Qinlin was really hoping for luck. She was scared, but she hoped that Xiao Ben was lying to her. However, after hearing Xiao Ben's words, Xiao Qinlin knew that this matter was basically true. They would know in a few days. The attitude of the hidden Yu family disciples would reveal everything. Qinlin, I've already told you in advance. As for Xin Yan, you should talk to her about the pros and cons. I believe she's a sensible child. She wouldn't do something so foolish as to send everyone to their deaths. Xiao Ben said, I understand. Xiao Qinlin said helplessly, I will talk to Xin Yan and try my best to convince her. Although Xiao Qinlin wanted to support her daughter's choice, what was the point of supporting her if she lost her life? Xiao Qinlin sighed and dialed her daughter's number. Mom. Xin Yan had been holding her phone, waiting for Xiao Qinlin's call. She picked it up immediately. How's it going? Did Uncle agree to cancel the engagement? Xin Yan sighed. Xiao Qinlin listened to her daughter's expectant voice and couldn't help but sigh. Things are a little complicated. Mom, what's wrong? Is it because they don't want me to cancel the engagement? Xin Yan heard her mother's unhappy tone and guessed what was going on. Her heart tightened. Yes, Xin Yan. I'm sorry, I've tried my best. But this, I really can't. Xiao Qinlin said helplessly. Mom, do we really have to listen to Uncle? Can't we make our own choices? Worst comes to worst, we'll just cut off our relationship with them. We have Lin Yi and the Hidden House Pie to take care of our business. It won't be too bad. Xin Yan had made up her mind, and she was very determined. Xin Yan, listen to me. I'll explain it to you slowly. Xiao Qinlin sighed and told Xin Yan everything Xiao Ben said. Xin Yan, now you know why I said it can't be done, right? The Hidden House Pie is strong, but can it compare to the ancient sects? If you choose Lin Yi, it's not just hurting you, it's also hurting Lin Yi. Do you want him to die? Xin Yan's mouth was wide open, shocked beyond words. Xiaolong's brother, Kong Ming Ming, had become the disciple of the fifth elder of the Sky Elixir sect, the future successor of the elder. Why was House Kong so lucky? Xin Yan, you're my only daughter. I don't want anything to happen to you. Xiao Qinlin continued. Sometimes, liking someone doesn't mean you have to be with them. As long as they're safe and happy, that's a type of happiness, isn't it? Mom, I understand. Xin Yan sighed softly, laughing at herself. She didn't think that her decision would die before it could be implemented. Yes, if she forced herself to be with Lin Yi, it wouldn't just hurt herself, it would hurt Lin Yi as well. Xin Yan, think about it, calm down. Xiao Qinlin didn't feel too good. If you can't think it through, then call me. Xin Yan hung up quietly, tears streaming down her cheeks. Was it to mourn this withering love that hadn't even bloomed yet? Freedom of love was a luxury in a family like hers. Xin Yan didn't want to give up, but she didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. After some hesitation, she dialed Chen Tian's number. Xin Yan, sis-in-law? Chen Tian blinked. He didn't expect Xin Yan to call him. Although Xin Yan had saved his number after she was kidnapped, she never called him. Chen Tian was a little surprised. Wu Chen Tian, I want to ask you something. Are ancient sects very powerful? Xin Yan asked directly. Ancient sects? Chen Tian paused, not knowing why Xin Yan would ask a question like this. He thought that she must have heard about it somewhere and was curious, so he answered casually, of course they're powerful. Ancient sects are much more powerful than hidden houses. Xin Yan, sis-in-law, why are you asking this all of a sudden? Then, compared to Lin Yi, Sun Yan asked again. La 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 la. Chen Tian was even more taken aback. He didn't expect Sun Yan's thoughts to jump so far, comparing him to Lin Yi. He didn't want to belittle Lin Yi in front of Sun Yan, but he didn't dare boast. Boss will be even more powerful than the ancient sects in the future. Look, Boss wasn't as powerful as a common house before, and he was suppressed by House Yu. But after that, he successfully wiped out House Yu and took in all the common houses, forming the Cultivators Association. Now, he's marching towards the hidden houses. Look, the hidden House Han and House Pai have become his lackeys, and they've joined the Cultivators Association as well. So, it's only a matter of time before Boss conquers the ancient sects. I got it. Thanks. Sun Yan sighed as she hung up the phone. Chapter 2394. But this kind of achievement would have been very dazzling during normal times. It wasn't something normal people could achieve, but for Sun Yan, it was far from enough. The pressure from the ancient sects was simply too much. Sun Yan finally understood her mother's fear. Even Lin Yi couldn't fight against them. After some hesitation, Sun Yan finally made her decision. 4 years in university wasn't long, but it wasn't short either. She couldn't marry Xiaolong during that time, so she'd give Lin Yi 4 years. For years, she hoped that Lin Yi would be able to stand at a height even higher than the ancient sects. But from now on, in order to prevent the Sky Elixir sect from doing anything to Lin Yi, she had to keep some distance from Lin Yi, especially after Xiaolong's arrival. She'd keep this secret to herself. She didn't want to bring trouble to Lin Yi. If Lin Yi didn't reach that height in 4 years, then Sun Yan would go to Xiao Xiao or the Tang Yin. Weren't they heirs to the ancient sects? Sun Yan would rather not get married then. She didn't believe that the Sky Elixir sect would start a war with the Ice Palace or Snow Valley just because of this. After all, running away from the wedding and being with Lin Yi were two different things. Running away would only cause House Kong to lose a bit of face, but being with Lin Yi would cause them to lose a lot of face. Chen Tian looked at the phone in his hand and shook his head. He didn't know why Sun Yan was calling him, asking a few random questions. Was she trying to get to know Lin Yi better? But Chen Tian didn't think much of it. He continued walking around the mall with old Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, and his grandpa. They've been in Lin Yi's house for a while now, and they didn't bring much luggage. Their clothes were washed and worn, and Lin Yi had people buy them for them. Today was the chance to buy some daily necessities and clothes. Lin Yi was studying Spring Rain in his room after his failure when he heard Chun Shi's voice in the living room. Lin Yi quickly walked out to see that Chun Shi had just woken up. She stood up from the sofa and looked around, her eyes filled with shock. A moment ago, Chun Shi was scavenging with Grandpa Zhu near the beach between Donghai and Songshan. For some reason, she fell asleep, and when she woke up again, she found herself lying on a sofa in a luxurious villa. Chun Shi was shocked. She remembered that there were often cases of girls being abducted on the internet and in the newspapers. She quickly checked her clothes and found that they were intact. Chun Shi felt a little strange. Who brought her here? Suddenly hearing the sound of the door opening, Chun Shi subconsciously turned her head, but what she saw was the person she yearned for day and night. Thinking about day and night, Chun Shi's face reddened. Only Ziyu knew what was on her mind. Shi, you're awake? Lin Yi knew that Chun Shi only took sleeping pills, so he wasn't too worried. Yeah, Lin Yi bro, why am I here? Chun Shi saw Lin Yi, surprised at first, but then confused. Wasn't I scavenging at the beach? You were taken away by the bad guys, and I just happened to see you, so I brought you back. Lin Yi didn't explain in detail. Lin Yi didn't want to get rid of Boss Zhu just yet, and keeping him with Chun Shi was a form of protection. Lin Yi could tell that the reason why the Zhaos didn't leave after losing to Chun Shi was because they wanted to take Chun Shi away after Lin Yi, Pu Laolu, and Pu Huati fought to the death. They didn't want anything to happen to Chun Shi. But what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi's strength was beyond their expectations. From a perspective, Pu Laolu was an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati was a psychic with an unknown combat ability. Even if the two of them couldn't win completely, it was still possible that they could take Lin Yi down with them. So the people who stayed, they were waiting for Lin Yi to deal with Pu Laolu and Pu Huati, and then they could secretly take Qinshi away. But what they didn't expect was that Lin Yi killed the hidden Zhaos in one move. They didn't even have the chance to see Lin Yi kill Pu Laolu. Although Lin Yi was recovering, he still heard the boss's words clearly. The hidden Zhaos had spoken to them, which meant that they had been planning this for a long time, and Qinshi was just a pawn. But what was the relationship between Qinshi and the hidden Zhaos? And why would Boss Zhu stay by Qinshi's side? What about Grandpa Zhu? Qinshi was shocked. She came out to scavenge with Grandpa Zhu, and she met the bad guys. How is Grandpa Zhu now? Did he meet the bad guys as well? Grandpa Zhu. Lin Yi laughed coldly in his heart. He's fine. He probably sold you out, and you're still worried about him? But Lin Yi naturally wouldn't say this to Qinshi. He said to her, who knows, but he should be fine. He's just an old man. He doesn't have much value. Pack up. I'll send you back to Songzhan. Okay. Qinshi was still a little worried about Grandpa Zhu, but since Lin Yi said so, she didn't ask anymore. She only nodded. I don't need to pack up. I can go now. Okay, let's go now. Lin Yi nodded. He didn't see Ming Yao and Yushu, not knowing what they were doing. Lin Yi sent them a text, telling them that he was sending Qinshi back to Songzhan, and left the villa with Qinshi. Boss Zhu didn't see what happened in the casino, but he did see Lin Yi carrying Qinshi, Elder Pai, Pai Jishan, Pai Jihai, Wu Gonggao, Ming Yao, Yushu, and the others all in one piece. Lin Yi had some bloodstains on him, as if he was injured, but the fact that he could carry someone meant that he was fine. Why would Elder Pai appear next to Lin Yi? Wasn't Pai Jihai injured by the purple thunderbolt beast? Why did he appear here alive and kicking? Chapter 2395. Boss Zhu quickly called Zhao Guanyin. Young master, Lin Yi saved Qinshi. Although he's injured, he should be fine. He can still hold Qinshi. What? Zhao Guanyin was shocked. Pu Laolu is an Earth-class late-phase peak, and Pu Huati is a psychic. Even they couldn't stop Lin Yi. Looks like there's no one left. Young master, what about Qinshi? Boss Zhu asked. You follow Lin Yi. Go get Qinshi back first. Your identity hasn't been exposed, so it's fine. Zhao Guanyin was angry and unwilling, but there was nothing he could do. He could only say, wait for you to come back and think about it. Tell father and I the details. Yes, Boss Zhu quickly replied. So, as soon as Lin Yi left the villa, he saw Boss Zhu at the door. Boss Zhu, on the other hand, pretended like he'd just arrived, panting and sweating. Lin Yi, is Lil Shi here? I've been asking around for a long time, and finally found out where you're staying. It's so hard to find. Boss Zhu's acting was quite good. Of course, he was always acting in front of Qinshi. Grandpa Zhu, you're okay. That's great. Qinshi was happy to see Boss Zhu. Qinshi, Grandpa Zhu is fine. You were suddenly knocked out by a few people. Sigh, Grandpa Zhu is useless. I couldn't protect you. Boss Zhu said helplessly. It's okay, Lin Yi saved me. Qinshi didn't doubt Boss Zhu's words at all. Qinshi, go back to the villa first. I want to talk to your Grandpa Zhu. Since Lin Yi saw Boss Zhu, he wouldn't let him go so easily. Qinshi was taken aback, but she still nodded because of her trust in Lin Yi. More importantly, she listened to Lin Yi's words. Then, I'll go back to the villa first. Qinshi didn't know why Lin Yi was looking for Grandpa Zhu, but she didn't ask. She turned around and left. Mr. Lin Yi, thank you so much. Boss Zhu said pretentiously. All right, old Zhu, stop pretending. Let's talk in the car. Lin Yi pointed at his car and said to Boss Zhu. What do you mean, Mr. Lin Yi? Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still pretended not to know. You know what I mean. I killed those hidden Zhao family members. Don't you want to know how they died? Lin Yi said coolly. What hidden Zhao family? I don't understand. Boss Zhu's heart skipped a beat, but he still asked with a blank face. Haha, get in the car if you don't want to die. Earth-class early-phase practitioner. Lin Yi didn't say much and pointed out his level. Boss Zhu's face changed. He didn't think that Lin Yi would be able to tell what level he was. It seemed that Lin Yi really did know something, otherwise he wouldn't have said that. The fact that he was a practitioner was suspicious enough. All right. Boss Zhu's face changed. He nodded and got in the car with Lin Yi. What's your relationship with Qibing's Uncle Zhu? Are you his brother? Lin Yi already guessed that Boss Zhu was related to the hidden house Zhao. His surname was Zhu, so naturally, he connected it to Uncle Zhu. Yes, he's my brother. Boss Zhu gritted his teeth. He knew that there was no point in hiding it from Lin Yi. Lin Yi already knew his identity. Why did you run to Chen Shi's side? What happened today? What was going on? Why are you guys hiding house Zhao? Lin Yi asked. I'm sorry. I have my own master. There are some things I can't say. Boss Zhu rejected. Boss Zhu refused. You and Chen Shi can expose my identity, but I still can't say anything about the Zhao family. Expose you? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu playfully. Do you think that you'll be fine if you don't say anything? Then, what do you want? Boss Zhu's face froze. Elder Bai, I even dare to cripple you. Who do you think you are in my eyes? Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu condescendingly. I asked you to get in the car to ask you something. Don't think I'm begging you. I can kill you anytime I want. Do you believe that no one from House Zhao will stand up for you after you die? Boss Zhu started sweating. Lin Yi was right. Elder Bai was almost in a vegetative state from Lin Yi, and House Zhao didn't even dare fart. If they dared to look for trouble with Lin Yi, they wouldn't need to borrow a knife to kill him. That's right, but your master is a bit too weak. Lin Yi looked at Boss Zhu. Perhaps you'll have a better future with Zhao Qikuan. Your brother Uncle Zhu might not always be a cripple. You? What do you mean? Boss Zhu's eyebrows twitched as he stared at Lin Yi. He wasn't sure of Lin Yi's intentions. Nothing, I'm just saying. Lin Yi said faintly. Wu Qintian was crippled, but now he's an Earth class, early phase. Pai Zhihai, that Zhao Yaoan from your house, said that he couldn't make it anymore. But isn't he fine now? Since Boss Zhu could find his way here, Lin Yi believed that Boss Zhu must have seen the hidden house Pai come out of the casino. At this point, if Boss Zhu still didn't understand what Lin Yi meant, then he'd be an idiot. Lin Yi's hint was clear. There was no future with Zhao Qibing, but there was a future with Zhao Qikuan. Not only was there a future, but there was hope for his brother's recovery. Although Uncle Zhu's injuries were serious, Boss Zhu thought that Wu Qintian and Pai Zhihai's injuries were even more serious. If they were fine, then Uncle Zhu's injuries were probably nothing to Lin Yi. It wouldn't be hard for him to recover. Can I think about it? This is too important, Boss Zhu said after a moment of silence. After all, it was impossible for him to betray House Zhao. He'd been with House Zhao for so many years, and he couldn't bring himself to destroy House Zhao with Lin Yi. But to change masters and work for Qikuan, that was something he could accept. Chapter 2396. Of course, Lin Yi didn't expect Boss Zhu to agree right away. That wasn't realistic. If he agreed right away, Lin Yi would suspect that there was something wrong with him. Lin Yi didn't believe that he had some sort of king's aura that could make Boss Zhu submit right away. Wu Qintian, Hidden House Han, and Hidden House Pai's submission all had specific conditions. Boss Zhu only talked to him once, and he'd submit? That wasn't realistic. Fu. Boss Zhu let out a breath of relief and said gratefully, "Thank you." "What's with Chen Shi?" Lin Yi asked. "Chen Shi is the illegitimate daughter of the young head. I'm someone the young head arranged to be by her side. That's all I can say. I can't say anything else right now. I hope Mr. Lin can understand and don't force me," Boss Zhu said. Lin Yi could get some information from Mrs. Chen later on, so Boss Zhu didn't hide it. Oh, Lin Yi paused. He didn't expect Chen Shi to be Zhao Guangyin's illegitimate daughter. This Zhao Guangyin was pretty good at messing around when he was young. It wasn't enough that he had Zhao Qibing, but now he had an illegitimate daughter? But what surprised Lin Yi was that the daughter of House Zhao was picking up trash. House Zhao has a strong patriarchal mindset, and they're very clear on the difference between the legitimate and illegitimate sons. Boss Zhu saw Lin Yi's confusion and explained. So that's how it is. Lin Yi nodded. It made sense now. This was most likely the reason why Zhao Qikuan wasn't valued. Zhao Qibing was the son of Zhao Guangyin, the young head of the house. Even if it was passed down, it would be his son who would be the heir, not Zhao Qikuan. Thinking of Zhao Qikuan, Lin Yi asked, "How's Zhao Qikuan now?" Zhao Qikuan, at the Hidden House Summit. He wanted to call Mr. Lin and tell him that Zhao Qibing's car was modified, but he was caught red-handed and is now under house arrest. Boss Zhu didn't hide it. These things weren't too important. Qikuan would tell Lin Yi about it when the Sky Elixir School's test was held. So Boss Zhu was just telling him first. He's under house arrest. Lin Yi was very surprised. He didn't think that Qikuan would be locked up because of him. It seemed like Qikuan had truly accepted him as his boss, or else he wouldn't be like this. This surprised Lin Yi. But after knowing this, Lin Yi couldn't just ignore Zhao Qikuan. He was locked up because of him, and this time, he was going to the Sky Elixir School's test. It seemed like House Zhao wanted to use this chance to get rid of him. "Mr. Lin, I can't do anything about this. I can't interfere with House Zhao's business." Boss Zhu thought that Lin Yi wanted his help, so he explained bitterly. "It's fine. Just tell him to go to the test in peace. I'll take care of everything." Lin Yi said. "That's easy." Boss Zhu nodded. This was something he could do. "About the hidden house pie, don't talk about it. They're all dead anyway. There's no evidence," Lin Yi said faintly. "Whatever you want to make up later, that's up to you." "All right." Boss Zhu sighed. He didn't say anything yet, but he was already on Lin Yi's boat. But what else could he do if he didn't agree? If Lin Yi wanted to kill him and Uncle Zhu, he could do it with a wave of his hand. No one could protect him, so he had to give in. "Chen Shi, I'll leave her to you. I don't want anything to happen to her," Lin Yi said with an unquestionable tone. "If anything happens, you'll be in trouble too." "I understand," Boss Zhu quickly replied. "All right, since you're here, you can take Chen Shi back," Lin Yi said. He wasn't worried anymore. "You know what to do, right?" "I know." Boss Zhu nodded helplessly. After getting off the car with Boss Zhu, Lin Yi went back to the villa and saw Chen Shi sitting on the sofa alone, not watching TV or reading magazines, just sitting there like a fool. It wasn't that Chen Shi didn't want to, but suddenly staying in such a luxurious villa made her feel uncomfortable and restricted. She didn't dare touch anything in the villa. "Chen Shi, since your grandpa Zhu is here to pick you up, you can go back with him." "I won't be sending you off," Lin Yi said. "Ah, okay." Chen Shi was a bit disappointed. She actually wanted Lin Yi to send her back so she could spend more time with Lin Yi, but she didn't dare say it out loud. She could only nod. "Study hard when you get back, and don't always pick up trash. If you don't have money, asking Ziyu for it." Lin Yi didn't want Chen Shi to be distracted by these things. "Yeah," Ziyu said, but evidently wasn't going to do that. Lin Yi didn't have a choice, too. Chen Shi and Ziyu were close, but Chen Shi wouldn't use Ziyu's money. After sending Chen Shi and Boss Zhu off, Lin Yi looked at the time. It was still early, and he was about to ask Meng Yao and Yushu what was going on when Lin Yi got a call from Lingshan. "Silly girl, your call really came at the right time." Lingshan's call came in just as Lin Yi was done with the things he had on hand. "Why are you calling me silly girl again?" Lingshan felt a little familiar with the way he called her. She remembered that Lin Yi hadn't called her that in a while, and hearing it now gave her a strange feeling. "Ah, I just remembered, so I called you that." Lin Yi thought back to when he first met Lingshan, feeling a little emotional. In the blink of an eye, they were all from Songshan to Donghai City. "You missed me?" Lingshan's voice started to sound a little sweet and coquettish. A little. Lin Yi didn't deny it. It had been a long time since he last saw Lingshan, and seeing her today made him feel a sense of closeness. It was just that Lingshan had a case to deal with, so Lin Yi didn't talk to her much. "Ah, real or fake, I'm pretty happy." Lingshan was a little surprised. "It's just a simple thing between friends," Lin Yi added. "Can't you just add that last part?" Lingshan said, a little discouraged. "There are different types of friends." Lin Yi sweated. He didn't expect Lingshan to react this strongly. "All right, if that's the case, can you help me look into the kidnapping case?" Lingshan felt a little better. Chapter 2397. I got this case as soon as I came to Donghai, and I went to the police station yesterday to look at the fake Lin Yi's file. According to Chintian, the kidnappers were very similar to the fake Lin Yi. They were the type of people who had no intelligence and weren't afraid of death, or rather, people who had their brains destroyed and hypnotized. Lingshan said. Oh. Linny paused. He hadn't had the time to ask about the details yet, but now that Lingshan was talking about it, he did feel that the two cases were quite similar, and he subconsciously thought of one person. He remembered what he saw at the Hidden House Summit. This kidnapper and that fake Lin Yi, weren't they similar to the contestants in Mingyu brought? No wonder Lin Yi felt that this person looked familiar back then. The person Li Biaohan had found was similar to this type of person. It should be the Firewolves. Lin Yi guessed, and the Firewolves were the first people he thought of. Firewolves? Lingshan frowned. Naturally, she heard of the Firewolves before. The Firewolves weren't any weaker than the ancient sections. They were a gang, but other than being notorious, they didn't have any solid evidence. The police couldn't do anything to them. More importantly, the number of practitioners they had was enough to fight against the ancient sections. Normal people wouldn't be able to touch them. It's just a guess. Lin Yi said, but it's very possible that it's Jiang Wen's doing. Of course, in the end, the person you catch might be a small fry that the Firewolves used as a scapegoat. Don't hold too much hope. It's good that we have a direction. Lingshan sighed. Of course, she knew what Lin Yi was talking about. If this was really done by the Firewolves, then the Firewolves wouldn't have left any evidence behind. This could be seen from the fake Lin Yi that they captured. Come to my villa when you're free. I'll give you a small qi gathering pill. You'll be able to advance to the early phase of Earth class after you take it. It'll be good for your daily work. Lin Yi said, East Ocean City is not like Songshan City. The level of the cultivators here is obviously higher than Songshan City. All right, I'll go get it after I'm done here. Lingshan said. Thanks. Oh, why are you thanking me? Lin Yi smiled. Lingshan's heart warmed, and she happily hung up the phone. But then she thought about the Firewolves, and her head hurt again. Donghai, Jiang Wen's villa. This was the third time Xiao Chun called Lei Daming. Lei Daming, is your money ready or not? Our patience is limited. If we don't see the money in an hour, we can only say sorry. Xiao Chun said coldly through the voice changer. I really don't have money, Lei Daming said with a sad face. It's not that I don't want to pay, but I'm no longer the chairman of the Merchant Association. The Hidden House, Zhao, doesn't let me manage the business in Donghai anymore. They sent me to Jiduan City to manage the business. You don't know how to ask for money from the Hidden House? Xiao Chun, naturally, didn't care about his excuses. 1 hour. If you don't have the money, I'll kill you. Then, Xiao Chun hung up the phone, ignoring Lei Daming's crying. But after hanging up, Xiao Chun changed his violent attitude and said respectfully, Master One, what Lei Daming said is true. He really doesn't have the money. I've asked around, and the chairman of the Donghai Merchant Association has been changed to an outsider called Pengzhan. What? Changed to Pengzhan? Jiang Wen froze. Yeah, why don't we kidnap Pengzhan's daughter and extort some money from him? Xiao Chun suggested. Of course, he was new here and didn't know about the relationship between Jiang Wen, Pengzhan, and Meng Yao. Xiao Chun, don't talk nonsense. Scorpion knew about Jiang Wen's situation. He glared at Xiao Chun. Shut up. Forget it, Scorpion, he doesn't know. Jiang Wen waved his hand. He didn't blame Xiao Chun. I've been chasing after Pengzhan's daughter. If I kidnap her and she finds out about it, I won't have a chance. It seemed like Jiang Wen didn't have much of a chance now, but he still had a sliver of hope. I'm sorry, Master One. Xiao Chun jumped in fright. He made a mental note that he couldn't offend this Pengzhan. But what about Lei Daming's daughter? Kill her if she doesn't pay for an hour. Jiang Wen said coldly. Let's make an example out of her. It's not easy for us to kidnap her, and if she doesn't pay, we won't let her off easy. Mark the price clearly and honestly. All right, Xiao Chun nodded. An hour later, Lei Daming didn't pay the ransom, so Scorpion killed Lei Daming's daughter and left her body in the wilderness. He told Xiao Chun to call Lei Daming to identify the body. In a garbage dump in the suburbs of Donghai, a couple of police cars had their lights flashing. Ling Shan, Lu Wangli, and the others were standing beside a woman's body. The other police officers were cordoning off the area. Lei Daming was crying on the ground. He didn't think that the kidnappers would really kill his daughter. Lingshan felt that the kidnappers were too arrogant, but she didn't really sympathize with Lei Daming. This guy was a dog of House Zhao, and when he was the chairman of Donghai Commerce, he worked with some local businessmen to bully and chase away foreign investors, turning Donghai business into a mess. Now that he was abandoned by House Zhao, and his daughter was killed by the kidnappers, he was reaping what he sowed. But, as bad as Lei Daming was, the case had to be solved. After investigating the scene, Lingshan brought Lu Wanli to House An's villa in Donghai. Since Lin, he said that this might have something to do with Jiang Wen from the Firewolves, Lingshan naturally had to go and investigate. When Lingshan arrived at the villa, Jiang Wen wasn't at home. Only Jiang Wen's father, and Mingyue, was there. Mr. In, I'm Lingshan from Donghai's criminal investigation team. This is my ID. Lingshan handed the ID to Mingyue. Lingshan and Mingyue weren't strangers, but Lingshan still had to be professional. Chapter 2398. Mr. In, is Jiang Wen home? We have something we need to talk to him about. Lingshan got straight to the point. Oh, you're looking for Jiang Wen? He's not home. What's the matter? And Mingyue asked calmly. Where is he? We're looking for him to cooperate with the investigation. Lingshan said, I see. Why don't I call him and ask him to come back? And Mingyue saw that Lingshan wasn't going to say anything, and after some hesitation, he dialed Jiang Wen's number and told him everything that happened. Of course, he didn't say anything unnecessary. He believed that Jiang Wen would understand what he was trying to say. Jiang Wen, naturally, understood what his father was hinting at, but he didn't understand how Lingshan could have gotten here so quickly. Jiang Wen was confident that he'd done everything perfectly, and there wasn't any evidence left. Lingshan probably didn't come here through evidence. Still, Jiang Wen went back to the villa immediately and greeted Lingshan warmly. Officer Song, you were looking for me? Jiang Wen, you're familiar with the recent kidnapping cases, right? Lingshan asked straightforwardly. Normal methods wouldn't work on people like Jiang Wen. Kidnapping cases? I've heard of it, but no one from Housen was kidnapped. As expected, Jiang Wen looked at Lingshan innocently. Jiang Wen, I'll cut to the chase. Lin, he asked me to find you. The Firewolf Gang's research on these people that are similar to practitioners. Don't tell me you have nothing to do with it. Lingshan wasn't just beating around the bush with Jiang Wen. Someone like him wouldn't admit anything no matter what. So, Lingshan decided to ask him directly. Jiang Wen didn't expect Lingshan to ask like this, especially since it was Lin who asked her to come. His face changed. He wanted to deny it subconsciously, but he knew that he couldn't. Lin probably knew about the things he had done, such as kidney removal, underground boxing, bank robbery, etc. However, Lin did not have any evidence, and Lin probably could not be bothered with him for the time being. But this time, Lin had personally instructed Lingshan to come to him. Evidently, Lin wasn't happy with the kidnapping. Jiang Wen frowned. He seemed to have offended Lin a little too much recently, especially after Pingzhan's car accident. Lin didn't like him at all. He remembered what his father said about Lin Yi's feat at the Hidden House Summit. Jiang Wen hesitated, but decided to give in. His position in the Fire Wolf Gang was indeed very high, but didn't the Fire Wolf Gang's law protector similarly admit defeat in front of Lin Yi? Plus, Lin Yi's performance at the Hidden House Summit could only be described as shocking. Even those Sky-class masters didn't dare to make a move, so how could Jiang Wen fight against Lin Yi? And so, Jiang Wen decided to give in. Is that so? But, Officer Song, you know that I may be the person in charge of the Fire Wolf Gang in Donghai, but some of my men might use our practitioners to do bad things for their own selfish reasons. I didn't pay attention to it before, but since Officer Song reminded me, it seems like I've overlooked it. Don't worry, Officer Song, I'll investigate the people in our group, and those who have the qualifications to use those practitioners, I'll investigate them one by one. If it really was one of our men involved in the kidnapping, then I won't go easy on him. I'll bring him to you personally. I hope so. Lingshan nodded. This wasn't the result she wanted, but it was still a victory in comparison. Jiang Wen gave in. The person he handed over might be a small fry, but it was better than nothing. Of course, Lingshan knew that the Lin Yi in her words had an effect. Jiang Wen was obviously afraid of Lin Yi, and that was why he was trying to shirk the responsibility. Otherwise, there was no way Jiang Wen would give in without any evidence at all. Lingshan didn't say much and left with Lu Wangli. She knew that the kidnapping case would be solved soon, but the real culprit was still in hiding. The Firewolf Gang, also known as Firewolf Group, was the real culprit behind all this. Fuck, we just made some money, and Lin Yi's here to cause trouble. Jiang Wen was furious after Lingshan left. Jiang Wen, Lin Yi has a big grudge with us. With the current situation, it really isn't a good time to have a conflict. And Minghua said, let's stop the kidnapping for now. Okay. Jiang Wen was angry, but he knew that he couldn't do the kidnapping business anymore. It seemed like he had to focus on other businesses. Boss Zhu sent Shenxi back first before returning to Donghai City. He went to Gambling Bros Casino first and learned about the situation from him. Of course, this was to make it easier for him to lie when he got back. He mainly wanted to test how much Gambling Bro knew. But now, it seemed like Gambling Bro didn't know much. He didn't see how Pu Laolu and Pu Huati died, and he didn't know Old Pai's real identity. This made Boss Zhu sigh in relief. After Boss Zhu returned, the first thing the hidden house, Zhao, did was call for a family meeting. Boss Zhu followed Lin Yi's orders and blamed the whole thing on Lin Yi, but didn't mention the hidden house Pai. As for the reason why the Zhaos were killed by Lin Yi, it was because of the casino. Boss Zhu said that the boss of the casino sold out the hidden house Zhao's identity. Of course, Boss Zhu was reversing the sequence. Gambling Bro did sell out the hidden house Zhao, but he did it after, not before. As for the reason why Lin Yi suspected those people, it was because Lin Yi saw through Boss Zhu's strength. Naturally, Boss Zhu wouldn't say it out loud. If House Zhao knew that he was exposed, he'd probably be sent back to the hidden house. He wouldn't be able to stay by Chun-Shi's side, and he wouldn't have a good ending either. I didn't think that Lin Yi was this strong, killing Pu Huati and his bodyguards. Old Zhao was shocked. This Lin Yi wasn't weak at all. No wonder he was so arrogant during the Hidden House Summit, saying that he had the strength to fight Sky Class. Chapter 2399. But now, he was venting his anger on the casino. But before old Zhao could say anything, Guanyin spoke up. Father, this casino owner is a two-faced scoundrel. He's not a good person. How dare he betray our hidden house? If we don't teach him a lesson, he won't know who the boss of Donghai is. Yes, of course we'll teach the casino a lesson, but we'll have to wait until this blows over. Old Zhao waved his hand. At least wait until the news of Pu Huati and Pu Laoyo's deaths reach Southeast Asia. We'll go to their sects and let them know who killed their disciples. If we do it now and they blame it on us, it won't be worth it. Lin Yi is a sly bastard. He's capable of anything. Yes, father. Guanyin had wanted to attack the casino right away, but his father's words made sense. If they did it now, what if Pu Huati and Pu Laoyo's deaths were blamed on them? Grandpa, that Lin Yi is so strong. Zhao Qikuan. It was finally Qibing's turn to speak. He wasn't interested in taking revenge on the casino. He was worried about Qikuan. If Qikuan got Lin Yi's support, then who could stop him if he wanted to take over? Father, Zhao Qikuan must be removed. Guanyin hesitated before suggesting. Haze. Old Zhao sighed. He thought that if they could get rid of Lin Yi, then even if Qikuan didn't die, he wouldn't be able to do much. He'd be kicked out of House Zhao and become a normal rich man. But now, it seemed like he had to get rid of him, or there'd be endless trouble in the future. Head, Zhao Qikuan is still a bit against the idea of joining the test, but if we tell him that Lin is joining as well, then maybe he'll go willingly. Elder Zhu suggested. Oh, old Master Zhao pondered for a moment, then nodded his head and said, all right, go tell him. I won't see him. Old Zhao had made up his mind, but he was still a little emotional. Boss Zhu felt a little smug. He'd said this to get in touch with Qikuan, and, as expected, the mission had fallen to him. This was because he had already calculated that old Master Zhao was a little sad and probably wouldn't go. Qibing and Qikuan, on the other hand, were enemies. Qikuan might not believe his words. Since Zhao Guangyin was Zhao Qibing's father, it wasn't suitable for him to do such a thing, so after he suggested it, it naturally fell onto his shoulders. It could be said that it was logical. Yes, Boss Zhu quickly responded. Unknowingly, Boss Zhu also realized that he had already boarded Lin Yi's pirate ship. It was impossible for him to leave. This was already destined from the moment he discovered his identity. Therefore, although Boss Zhu was reluctant, he had no other choice. Luckily, helping Qikuan was also helping House Zhao. It was just two different factions, so Boss Zhu didn't feel too much of a burden. They came to Qikuan's room and knocked. Boss Zhu pushed the door open and walked in. Qikuan was sitting on the bed with his eyes closed, practicing. He didn't open his eyes when he heard the door open. Put the food on the table. I'll eat later. These days, there had been people delivering food to him every day. He was used to it. There were masters guarding his door, and even with his strength, he wouldn't be able to escape. Qikuan was too lazy to run. As for the food, Qikuan didn't worry at all. Hidden House, Zhao wanted to get rid of him, but they wouldn't do something like poison. Houses had rules, and if they did something like that in the future, people would start using poison in the fight for the head of the house, and then Hidden House Zhao would be wiped out. So, to get rid of Qikuan, they had to use the Sky Elixir School's test. Qikuan had seen through the truth. These days, he had accepted his fate. Qikuan, someone told me to tell you. Don't worry and go to the test. Boss Zhu lowered his voice and whispered to Qikuan. Ah. Qikuan opened his eyes abruptly and looked at Boss Zhu, confused. He wasn't a stranger to Boss Zhu, but he had always been Qibing's follower. Now that he came over and said something like this, Qikuan didn't know what was going on, but Boss Zhu didn't continue the topic. The head of the house told me to tell you that Lin Yi is participating in the Sky Elixir test as well. Qikuan frowned as he looked at Boss Zhu, a little surprised. He couldn't tell which side Boss Zhu was on right now. If he was one of Zhao Qibing's people, then there wouldn't be a problem with the second sentence. In order to let him participate in the test, he wouldn't reject it, so he told him this information. In fact, Qikuan knew that this was Qibing's plan to get him to join the test willingly. It was an overt scheme, but what Boss Zhu said in a low voice when he just came to the room was worth considering. Who did he say that on behalf of? Zhu Boss Zhu? Qikuan frowned, unsure of what to say. I don't want to die. Boss Zhu only said this and left the room. Don't want to die? Qikuan paused, but he wasn't an idiot. He quickly realized the connection between the two. The first one, Boss Zhu, was speaking for someone, and the second one was speaking for the head of the house, Elder Zhao. Since the first person was able to say something that made him feel at ease, it didn't need to be said who this person was. In addition to the two words Lin Yi in the second sentence, Zhao Qibing was sure that Lin Yi was the one who told Boss Zhu to bring him a message. And the reason why Boss Zhu gave in was simple. He was afraid of death. This made sense. After thinking about it, Qikuan, who had been depressed for so long, couldn't help but feel excited. It seemed like Boss Zhu hadn't forgotten about him. His act of sending him a message had paid off. Lin Yi must have found out about him through some other channel. So he told Boss Zhu to bring him this message. Like this, Qikuan didn't really mind joining the Sky Elixir sex test. He'd just see it as training with Lin Yi. After Lin Yi ended the call, he went to Han Jingjing's villa next door. Chapter 2400. That method. I don't think it'll work. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. He wanted to try it again, but Chen Shi woke up before he could, and then Boss Zhu came and Ling Shan called, so Lin Yi didn't try Spring Rain again. Now that Han Jingjing mentioned it again, Lin Yi didn't want to give up and decided to try again. It's not working. Han Jingjing was a little disappointed, but she still said, It's okay. I believe Lin Yi broke and think of other ways. If it really doesn't work, I will make second-level elixirs in batches. Let's try again. Lin Yi said, Let's go to your room now. Okay. Han Jingjing listened to Lin Yi's words. The two came to Han Jingjing's room, and Han Jingjing asked, Do you need me to do anything to help Lin Yi, bro? No need, just wait on the side. Lin Yi shook his head. Oh, okay. Han Jingjing nodded. After that, he started channeling the chant for skies, spring, rain, and tried activating the first form. But suddenly, a miracle happened. On Lin Yi's hands, a light blue mist of pure energy suddenly appeared, and as Lin Yi activated the technique, the light blue energy suddenly left Lin Yi's hands, floating in the air, and then fell like spring rain, entering Han Jingjing's body. This situation made Lin Yi a little stunned. He had been failing before, and suddenly it worked, which made Lin Yi feel like it was unrealistic. It worked just like that. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Huh, Lin Yi bro, is this the method you created? It's very effective. Jingjing feels a lot more energetic. Han Jingjing was also very surprised and impressed. If Lin Yi bro used this method when I was making elixirs, you can indeed replenish Jingjing's pure energy and stamina. You feel it? Lin Yi was pleasantly surprised. He didn't expect that the martial skill that he had failed to activate before would suddenly succeed in front of Han Jingjing. Why did Lin Yi feel that this was unrealistic? Yeah, I can feel it. Why did Brother Lin Yi say that this method is ineffective? Han Jingjing asked curiously. But Jingjing feels that it is effective. It's working this time. Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. Previously, when I was at home, I tried to activate this martial skill, but it didn't work. Why didn't you succeed? Is it because Jingjing isn't around? Han Jingjing blinked and asked doubtfully. Not beside me. Lin Yi was slightly stunned, but then he felt a sense of enlightenment. That's right. The reason why he didn't succeed in activating this martial technique before was because Han Jingjing wasn't beside him. In other words, there was no recipient. The basic function of this auxiliary martial technique was to replenish the physical strength and true chi of the people on his side, but there was no one on his side. Lin Yi activated the martial technique against the air. How could he activate it without a recipient? After figuring this out, Lin Yi couldn't help but smile bitterly. It was really a wake-up call. Yeah, Jingjing, you weren't beside me before. This martial technique of mine can only be activated when there's a recipient on my side. There is no one here, so of course, I can't activate it. After Lin Yi figured this out, he was a little excited and surprised. It seemed that it wasn't that he couldn't activate the water martial technique, but he just didn't figure it out before. And Brother Lin Yi is really smart. You figured out the key to the problem in an instant. Han Jingjing nodded and said, Jingjing didn't think of it. Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing's sincere face. He was a little embarrassed and ashamed. If Han Jingjing didn't remind him, Lin Yi would really ignore this point. However, Han Jingjing put the credit on his head, which made Lin Yi feel very embarrassed. However, looking at Han Jingjing's big, watery, and innocent eyes, Lin Yi found it hard to imagine that Han Jingjing was deliberately complimenting him. After coughing twice, Lin Yi said, let's start to study alchemy and see if we can refine second-grade medicinal pills in batches. Okay, Han Jingjing nodded. Like before, I'll simulate alchemy? Let's simulate it first. For the sake of insurance, Lin Yi let Han Jingjing simulate it first. Otherwise, if it failed, it would be a waste of materials. Okay, Han Jingjing took the cauldron and asked after preparing, can we start, Brother Lin Yi? Yes, let's start. Lin Yi nodded and began to circulate the spring rain martial technique. Han Jingjing began to condense the alchemy fire and prepare to simulate alchemy. Soon, Han Jingjing's alchemy fire was condensed, and then she began to simulate alchemy. It could be seen that Han Jingjing's physical strength and true chi were consumed very quickly. After a while, her forehead was covered with fine sweat. As for Lin Yi, he was ready to start urging the spring rain martial technique to replenish Han Jingjing's true chi and physical strength. This time, Lin Yi did not urge the first style of the spring rain martial technique, but he did not urge the second style either, because he roughly judged the speed of the consumption of true chi in Han Jingjing's body. He urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique. Whether it was the first style or the third style, there was not much difference for Lin Yi. According to the description of the spring rain martial technique, the first style of the spring rain martial technique could transfer true chi to one person. The second style could transfer true qi to 2 people. The third style could transfer true qi to 3 people, and so on. Now, there was only Han Jingjing beside Lin Yi. Using the third style was equivalent to transferring 3 portions of true qi to Han Jingjing at the same time. However, even if it was the fifth style, the total amount of true qi in Lin Yi's body was fixed. So whether it was the first style, the second style, or the fifth style, it was just that the true qi in Lin Yi's body was divided into several portions. The amount transferred each time was different, but the final sum was the same. Although Lin Yi had not really urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique before, according to Lin Yi's guess, the speed of releasing true qi in the third style should be about the same as the speed at which Han Jingjing's physical strength was consumed. Sure enough, after Lin Yi urged the third style of the spring rain martial technique, Han Jingjing's physical strength and true qi were quickly replenished. At this moment, Lin Yi was surprised to find that he could actually see the amount of true qi left in Han Jingjing's body. Chapter 24:01. When Lin Yi healed Wu Qintian, Pai Zhihai, and the others, he could directly feel the amount of qi in their bodies, but that was because the two of them were in direct contact. But now, he and Han Jingjing didn't have any contact. They were only connected through martial arts. So Lin Yi didn't know whether it was because the martial arts had this ability or because the martial arts connected the two of them. Lin Yi's golden finger worked again. But no matter what, this was a good thing for Lin Yi, because Lin Yi could see Han Jingjing's physical condition in real time. Han Jingjing's body kept absorbing the qi that Lin Yi sent over, and the spring rain arts kept circulating in Lin Yi's body, and as long as Lin Yi didn't stop, the qi would be continuously sent into Han Jingjing's body. But Lin Yi soon realized that the third form of spring rain wasn't enough to keep up with Han Jingjing's consumption. Although it looked like Lin Yi was constantly replenishing Han Jingjing's energy, the rate of replenishment wasn't enough to keep up with the consumption. It just looked like the consumption was much slower. Han Jingjing really felt a lot more relaxed, and the qi in her body seemed to be endless. She could also calm down when she condensed the Dan fire and didn't have to worry about her physical strength and qi running out at any time. It could be said that this time's pill concoction simulation was very successful. If it was according to the usual pill concoction progress, at this time, there would be signs of physical exhaustion, and it wouldn't be as full as it was now. But while she was happy, Han Jingjing quickly realized a problem, and that was, although Lin Yi's qi was constantly being sent over, it couldn't keep up with the consumption, and the transfer was not as fast as the consumption. Lin Yi, bro, can you speed up the qi transfer a little? Han Jingjing felt this and quickly asked Lin Yi. Yes, Lin Yi said, and stopped the third form, and started the fourth form of spring rain. The amount of innate qi transmitted by the fourth form was obviously much more than that of the third form, and Han Jingjing's worries were solved. She then continued to refer to the data on the tablet for alchemy. Lin Yi did not expect that refining so many dawn would require so much physical strength and innate qi. If he were to refine higher-level dawn, how much innate qi and physical strength would he need? No wonder alchemists were so arrogant and did not easily refine pills for others. Refining a pill consumes a lot of true qi and physical strength. Although the alchemist mantra is special and can naturally restore true qi and physical strength in a short period of time, it also varies from person to person. Han Jingjing was a special case. She could recover her innate qi and physical strength in a very short period of time, but this was also because her level was relatively low. If it was a heaven stage alchemist refining a tier 3 Dan, it would probably take a very long time to recover. And the more time passed, the more Lin Yi felt this way, because very soon, all the innate qi in Lin Yi's body was transferred to Han Jingjing, and he directly became a powerless cultivator without innate qi. Although Han Jingjing's alchemy continued, the innate qi in her body was also consumed very quickly. Feeling that Lin Yi's innate qi was no longer continuously transmitted, Han Jingjing was slightly stunned, but she roughly calculated the remaining time on the tablet. Her physical strength and innate qi should be able to support until the end of the simulation alchemy. Finally, Han Jingjing's simulation alchemy ended, but even if it was a simulation alchemy, the amount of innate qi consumed was the same as the normal alchemy. In the end, Han Jingjing's body had less than 1/3 of the innate qi and physical strength left. Phew, it's finally over. Han Jingjing wiped the sweat on her forehead, and then asked with some joy, "Big brother Lin Yi, why did you stop transmitting innate qi halfway? All the innate qi in my body has been given to you. There's not a bit left." Lin Yi smiled bitterly. "Ah, is that so?" Han Jingjing nodded, "But fortunately, there is enough innate qi. I still have some left in my body. If the two of us cooperate, we can refine multiple second-grade pills at once." "That's true," Lin Yi said. "Oh, right. If you want to refine a third-grade pill, how much innate qi do you need? If you only refine one, will the two of us have enough innate qi?" "It shouldn't be enough." Han Jingjing shook her head. "When I was free, I also calculated that the innate qi needed to refine a third-grade pill is at least 5 times the innate qi needed to refine a second-grade pill. 5 times. Lin Yi sucked in a breath of cold air. It seemed that non-heaven stage masters could not refine it, because the consumption of innate qi was too huge. Lin Yi could only temporarily dispel this unrealistic idea. If refining a third-grade pill was equal to the sum of 2 people's innate qi, or slightly more than the sum of 2 people's innate qi, Lin Yi could accept it. After all, after Lin Yi's innate qi was used up, Han Jingjing still had a lot of innate qi in her body. Lin Yi could take advantage of Han Jingjing's innate qi consumption to quickly restore his innate qi with the art of dragon mastery. But this method could not be used continuously, because Han Jingjing's innate qi could only last once. When Lin Yi's recovered innate qi was used up again, Han Jingjing would have no innate qi to support her, and the process would stop and fail. According to Han Jingjing, after refining a second-grade pill, she was a bit exhausted, which meant that her physical strength was basically only enough to refine 1 second-grade pill, and Lin Yi's innate qi and her own innate qi was only 3 times. Even if Lin Yi's innate qi was a bit more than Han Jingjing's, but the amount of innate qi a mid-stage peak Earth-class master and an early-stage Earth-class master had was not much different. After all, there would be a world of difference in the amount of essential qi after crossing a truly large level, but the difference between small levels would not be that great. So it was impossible to reach 5 times, unless there was someone like Lin Yi next to her to continue using Heavenly Rain to support Han Jingjing's pill refining. Lin Yi could not think of any other solution for now. Chapter 24:02. It's fine, we'll talk about that later. Lin Yi laughed at himself after hearing Han Jingjing's words. He really was thinking too much. Han Jingjing couldn't even control a third-level refinement fire right now. What use would it be even if she had enough qi? Yeah, but I'll try my best to simplify the third-level refinement fire and see if I can change the intensity and temperature of the refinement fire. Han Jingjing said, "Let's recover our qi first, and then try to mass-produce second-level pills. We'll see if it works." Lin Yi said, "All right." Han Jingjing nodded. Lin Yi and Han Jingjing were quite familiar with each other now, and he didn't hold back. He held Han Jingjing's hand and checked her pulse, activating the second stage of the art of dragon mastery to replenish her qi. On the second floor of Lin Yi's villa, Meng Yao and Yushu were lying on the bed, discussing Lin Yi and Xin Yan's future plans. What did Xin Yan mean by leaving today? Meng Yao couldn't understand why Xin Yan would reject Lin Yi. Wasn't she close with Lin Yi? Meng Yao nudged Shu with her foot. "Hey, aren't you almighty Shu? Tell me what's going on." "Maybe Xin Yan's sis is playing hard to get?" Yushu said after some thought. "Playing hard to get? No way, right?" Meng Yao frowned, rejecting the suggestion. "Can't you come up with something constructive?" "Oh, then why aren't you with Shield Bro Yao Yao?" Yushu asked. "Because, hey, this is Xin Yan's problem. What does it have to do with me?" Meng Yao realized that she'd almost fallen for Yu Shu's trick again. Actually, Shu thinks that Xin Yan's sis is the same as Yao Yao's sis, shy, or maybe it's a little too sudden. Yu Shu said, "Those are the only reasons. Like Yao Yao, you like Shield Bro too, but didn't you drag it out until now?" Ahem. Shu, can you not change the subject? Meng Yao glared at her. All right. Actually, the simplest way is for Sister Yao Yao to give Sister Xin Yan a call. Wouldn't you know? It's better than us guessing here, right? Yu Shu said, "That's a good idea." Meng Yao nodded. She picked up her phone and dialed Xin Yan's number. Ever since Xin Yan hung up the call with her mother, she'd been sitting on her bed with her phone in her hand. She didn't even want to read, and she didn't want to play with her tablet either. Her heart was heavy, and it was only when her phone rang that she jumped up. Xin Yan hesitated when she saw the caller ID. Should she pick it up or not? Meng Yao must be calling to ask about how he didn't respond to Lin Yi's confession. But how was he going to explain it? It was impossible for her to tell the truth. Xin Yan knew Lin Yi's personality. If she told the truth, it had put too much pressure on Lin Yi. She knew that Lin Yi was studying pill-making with Han Jingjing every day for Xiao Xiao, and the reason why he worked so hard to level up was also for Xiao Xiao. Xiao Xiao alone was enough to put a mountain of pressure on Lin Yi, and if she was added to the mix, would he even be able to breathe? The Ice Palace thing was still manageable. It didn't matter if Lin Yi could make the ice-hard jade bone pill they needed or not. The Ice Palace would never become Lin Yi's enemy. But the Sky Elixir sect was different. If she told the truth, how would Lin Yi face it? Xin Yan didn't want Lin Yi to worry about these things. After some hesitation, Xin Yan pressed the call button and picked it up. Yao Yao, Xin Yan, you don't like Lin Yi today? Meng Yao didn't know what to say, so she decided to get straight to the point. Yao Yao, I have a fiancé, so I can't be with Lin Yi. Xin Yan gritted her teeth and hardened her heart. Fiancé? You mean Kong Xiaolong? Meng Yao knew about Xin Yan and House Kong, but from her point of view, House Kong was already a thing of the past. Even the hidden house pie, the Xiao family's backing, was now Lin Yi's follower. What else could Xin Yan not agree to? Yeah, I have to follow my parents' orders. Xin Yan said, So you going to marry Xiaolong? Meng Yao was a little confused by Xin Yan's words. You don't look like someone that's stubborn, do you? I don't want to put my parents in a difficult position, and I'm the one who agreed to this. Yao Yao, please don't force me. I'm begging you. Xin Yan smiled bitterly. You. Meng Yao was stunned by Xin Yan's words. She thought that Xin Yan left because she was shy, but it seemed like that wasn't the case at all. Xin Yan had other reasons that she couldn't talk about. Yao Yao, I told you Lin Yi and I are just friends, really. Xin Yan's heart was bleeding when she said this. She was very sure of her feelings now. She liked Lin Yi, and she liked being with him. Just today, when Lin Yi confessed to her, Xin Yan almost said yes. Even when she walked out of the villa, Xin Yan still wanted to turn around and accept Lin Yi's confession. But the last phone call from her mother extinguished Wang Xin Yan's heart. But I can tell that Lin Yi needs you when he's training. Meng Yao wasn't willing to give up. She didn't believe that Xin Yan didn't like Lin Yi. Meng Yao's intuition as a woman allowed her to sense Xin Yan's feelings most of the time, but she didn't know why Xin Yan wouldn't admit it. I won't get married while I'm in university. Xin Yan hesitated. Isn't it good for me and Lin Yi to be good friends during this time? Good friends. Meng Yao smiled bitterly and said helplessly, Then I'll ask you one last time. Do you like Lin Yi? My phone's out of battery. Xin Yan quickly hung up and turned off her phone. She couldn't say something she didn't want to say, not even if she wanted to. Say that she didn't like Lin Yi. That would be lying to herself, and so Xin Yan chose to avoid it. Meng Yao held the phone in her hand, speechless. She didn't expect Xin Yan to say this at the end. This result meant that there was no result. She asked for nothing. Chapter 24:03. Yao Yao sis. I think Xin Yin sis has her own difficulties. Is she being forced to marry by her family? I don't think so. After all, the Xiao family is a thing of the past. Their support is Lin Yi's men. What's there for her to worry about? Meng Yao shook her head and denied Yu Shu's opinion. I don't know. Maybe she's a conservative girl. She doesn't want to break the promise after agreeing to the marriage. Yushu thought about it and couldn't think of another answer. Maybe. Mengyao sighed. If that's the case, Lin, you will be very disappointed. It's okay. We can continue with the beauty-chasing plan. Yushu didn't care. As long as we help, we should be able to change her mind. I hope so. Mengyao nodded and didn't say anything else. The two of them started watching a movie on the tablet. This was how they spent their time when Lin Yi wasn't home. Even the restless Shu had been cooped up at home, afraid of causing trouble for Lin Yi. She didn't dare go out casually, so Mengyao didn't reprimand her for going to the casino to vent her frustrations. If it was before, she would have taught her a lesson. Winning money at the casino was just looking for trouble. It wasn't like her family didn't have money. Although it was wrong of the casino not to pay up, if it wasn't for Lin Yi, she wouldn't be able to get the money back. She might even be dragged out of the casino by the security guards. Mengyao, on the other hand, felt quite liberated at the thought. This gamble bro was a bully, after all. He'd been acting all high and mighty before Lin Yi had even arrived. Acting as if victory was already in his grasp. What could Lin Yi do if he didn't give him that much money? But after Lin Yi came, didn't gambling bro obediently take out the money? It could be foreseen that those who lost money in the casino would have nowhere to seek redress for their grievances, and those who were lucky enough to win money. Yet he was not honored. How sorrowful was that? Mengyao looked at Shu, who was quietly watching the movie. She realized that she couldn't understand Shu anymore. Before Lin Yi came to the villa, Shu was also this kind of silly, carefree personality. But at that time, Lin Yi didn't understand her. Mengyao felt that this was most likely Shu's personality. But as time went on, Mengyao realized that this wasn't the case. Shu wasn't really heartless. Most of the time, it was just an act. What was Shu trying to hide under this disguise? Mengyao was surprised sometimes. Logically speaking, she should be the one who understood Shu the most, but in many situations, she realized that she only knew one side of Shu. At this moment, Lin Yi was still in Han Jingjing's villa, completely focused on recovering the physical strength and true qi that he had lost. Finally, after Lin Yi and Han Jingjing's physical strength recovered to their peak, Lin Yi decided to try concocting pills with Han Jingjing again. Let's start concocting 3 meridian unblocking pills now. Is that okay? Lin Yi looked at Han Jingjing and asked. After all, the two had just recovered their physical strength, and he wasn't sure if Han Jingjing could handle it. No problem. Lin Yi bro has already recovered Jingjing's physical strength and true qi. If Jingjing still can't concoct pills, then Jingjing is a big idiot. She's not worth Lin Yi bro's investment. Han Jingjing nodded. Huh, okay then. Han Jingjing's words made Lin Yi a little embarrassed. Han Jingjing was really professional, and Lin Yi admired and liked her. This little lass was really a lucky star that the heavens had sent to him. Many difficult problems were easily solved by her here. Yes, yes. Han Jingjing nodded heavily. Jingjing is ready. This time, with Lin Yi bro's help, I'm very confident that we can succeed. Lin Yi was even more embarrassed. Every time Han Jingjing concocted pills, she would give the credit to Lin Yi. She was never greedy, and this made Lin Yi feel like he was cheating an underage girl. But Han Jingjing was clearly an adult. It was just a little cute. Han Jingjing quickly prepared 3 portions of meridian unblocking pills ingredients and put them in the cauldron. Then, she quickly flipped through the tablet, looking for the scientific formula that she had recorded before. When Han Jingjing flipped to a page, she stopped and looked at it for a while. Then, she started to condense the fire, preparing to concoct the pills. And at this time, Lin Yi also started to circulate the Heavenly Spring Rain Martial Technique, preparing to activate the Heavenly Spring Rain Martial Technique. Not long after, Han Jingjing started to concoct the pills. And this time, Han Jingjing was clearly more focused than before. She didn't look at Lin Yi anymore. Her eyes were fixed on the time on her tablet, and the fire and temperature of the fire in her hands also changed according to the time. When Han Jingjing used up a portion of her physical strength and true qi, Lin, he started to activate the third form of the heavenly spring rain and started to transfer true qi to Han Jingjing. At the beginning, Lin, he only needed to activate the third form. Later on, he would activate the fourth or fifth form to quickly recover Han Jingjing's true qi and physical strength. Han Jingjing also felt Lin Yi's true qi transfer over, but her expression only changed slightly. She continued to concentrate on concocting pills. Time flew, and it was nighttime in the blink of an eye. The two didn't know that they were both focused on concocting pills. Meng Yao and Yushu watched 2 movies and came downstairs to see that Lin Yi wasn't back yet. Lin Yi isn't back yet? Looks like we'll have to settle dinner ourselves, Meng Yao said as she looked at the empty living room. Oh, maybe we should go out and get some? Eating instant noodles every day isn't nutritious, Yushu said as she looked at the time on her phone. There should be a lot of good food around here that we didn't see before. I'll go around and see if there's any delivery. Then let's go eat together? No need, it's just the 2 of us. It's so troublesome, Meng Yao said. It's fine. Shu should go. If Shield Bro doesn't have anything to eat when he comes back tonight, he can at least eat some of Yao Yao's leftovers. Then we can have an indirect kiss, Yushu said. Go, go, go. You talk too much. Meng Yao frowned and kicked Yushu out of the house, not letting her continue. Yushu walked out of the villa with a smile on her face. Shield Bro's car's still here? Why isn't he home? Meng Yao heard Yushu's words and came out to take a look. As expected, Lin Yi's Jeep was still parked at the door, but Lin Yi and Shun, she were nowhere to be seen. Chapter 2404. Lin Yi's out again? Meng Yao was puzzled as she prepared to make a call. Don't call yet. Yushu stopped Meng Yao suddenly. The car's at home, so Shield Bro must be nearby. If he's not at home, then he must be at Han Jingjing's. Maybe they're making pills. Let's not disturb him. Meng Yao nodded, surprised. She had to admit that Shu was quite good at analyzing things, figuring out Lin Yi's whereabouts from small details. I'm going to buy some food. Yushu's eyes flashed with worry, but it was gone in a flash. Then I'll go with you? Meng Yao was already out of the villa, so it didn't matter if she went with Yushu. Don't, Yushu said, subconsciously startled. Meng Yao looked at Yushu, confused. Oh, what I meant was that Yao Yao should stay at home and wait for Shield Bro. He'll think that we've been kidnapped when he comes back and sees that we're gone, and his car's gone. Yushu explained. Oh, that's true. I'll wait for Linny then. Meng Yao nodded. Yushu breathed out in relief as she got into the car and drove Lin Yi's Jeep out of Meng Yao's sight. Meng Yao watched the car leave, frowning as she stood in front of the villa for a long time, thinking about something. She shook her head after a while and walked into the villa. In a small tea house near the university town, a girl was sitting opposite a mysterious old man. The girl was trying her best to stay calm, but there was a hint of nervousness in her eyes. What's going on? Why isn't he dead yet? The old man frowned. Didn't I tell you to poison him? Why is he still fine? He's even talking to the hidden house, Zhao. The girl hesitated. He's a doctor and a refiner as well. He was the one who solved the poisoning incident in Songshan's first school. He even tasted the poison himself. In other words, this poison has no effect on him, or he's already solved it himself. The old man's expression softened a little after listening. Then he nodded and said, He didn't suspect you? I don't think so. If he's suspicious, he probably suspects that there's something wrong with the tea leaves. Perhaps there are pesticides on them that haven't been washed clean? The girl said carefully. I understand. The old man nodded noncommittally and said, I expected this situation as well. It's just a test. Using poison to kill is easier, but the others are more troublesome. Oh, then why don't we not kill them? They're quite hard to kill. If we don't kill them properly and get exposed, it won't be fun, right? The girl suggested. What? You can't bear to? The old man's eyes lit up as he looked at the young girl in front of him. How? How is that possible? The girl shook her head innocently. I'm just afraid that I can't kill him. He just exposed himself. You know, he's very powerful. Don't forget who you are. The old man coldly snorted and threatened. Your life and death is up to me. It's also in my hands. That's right. Let's find some time to make the lesser chi gathering pill. Hopefully, with these 5 sets of ingredients, we can create another miracle and make 12 pills, Lin said. Okay. Han Jingjing nodded. Let's recover our chi and stamina first. After that, I have to go back. Alchemy took up a lot of time. I haven't told Yao Yao and the others. Don't think that I'm missing, Lin said. In. Han Jingjing listened to whatever Lin said. It was as if she had no opinion of her own. Chapter 2405. But after leaving Lin Yi, she seemed to still have her own insights. Even a master refiners wouldn't be able to grasp her methods. After recovering their strength with Han Jingjing, Lin Yi took the pill and 9 meridian opening pills back to his villa. He saw Meng Yao sitting on the sofa as soon as he entered the house. She didn't turn on the TV, or did she turn on the lights in the living room? Lin Yi jumped when he saw her sitting on the sofa. Yao Yao, what are you doing? Lin Yi blinked. Lin Yi, you're back. Meng Yao snapped out of her stupor. She didn't even notice Lin Yi enter the house, and only now did she realize how dark the living room was. December's sky darkened faster and earlier. There was still light in the living room when Meng Yao sent Yushu away, but now it was completely dark. I'll go turn on the lights. I'll do it. Lin Yi was at the doorway, closer to the light switch. He turned it on. Where's Shu? Did she drive the car in the yard? And Yao Yao, what were you doing? Shu went to buy food. Meng Yao hesitated, but seemed to have made up her mind. She turned to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, do you have time now? I want to talk to you while Shu's not here. Now? I do. Lin Yi nodded, a little confused. He walked over and sat on the sofa beside Meng Yao. What's wrong? Why do I feel like both of you are acting weird today? Lin Yi thought that Meng Yao was going to talk to him about Wang Xinyan, but Wang Xinyan's matters didn't need to be hidden from Shu, so Lin Yi found it strange. You feel that something's wrong with Shu too? Meng Yao was happy to hear Lin Yi's words. If that's the case, I don't have to explain. I feel that Shu's acting weird too, as if she's hiding something from us. You mean Shu? Didn't you ask her? Lin Yi realized that Meng Yao was talking about Shu's problem. He sighed and said, it was pretty normal before. I felt like I just went out for a walk. That's a problem. Yeah, I think so too. Meng Yao said, I've asked her a couple of times today, but she's always absent-minded. I've asked her what's wrong, but she won't tell me. I'm a little worried, but I don't know what to do then. What do you want to do? Lin Yi asked, finding Yushu's behavior rather strange today, especially when she was pouring tea. He had no idea what she was going to do. I don't know. Meng Yao shook her head. She wanted to go out to buy food, and I wanted to go with her, but she didn't agree. It's like she's got something on her mind, and she's afraid that I'll ask. Maybe you can help me ask? Me? Lin Yi pointed at himself in surprise. Yup, little Shu treats you very well. She'll listen to you, Meng Yao said. Plus, she likes you. After listening to Meng Yao's words, Lin Yi fell silent. Lin Yi didn't object to what Meng Yao said. Yushu did listen to him, and Yushu would play tricks on everyone except himself. Sometimes, she would even play tricks on Meng Yao. But this didn't mean that Yushu could tell him what was on her mind. Lin Yi had long felt that there was something deeper under Yushu's crazy appearance. She pretended to be a happy little girl, but some things were just too much. I'll try, Lin Yi said. I'll find a chance to ask her these 2 days. Yup, thanks, Meng Yao said. I'm worried about her like this. No need to thank me. I'm worried too. She's not just your friend. Lin Yi waved his hand. She doesn't see me as a part of this family? Then you should thank me too. Meng Yao's mood improved after hearing Lin Yi's promise. I want to thank you. Right, did you ask Xinyan? Lin Yi asked. I did. Meng Yao was so worried about Shu that she would have forgotten about it if Lin Yi didn't bring it up. I called Xinyan just now, she said. She only sees you as a good friend, and she has a fiancé. Lin Yi didn't know what to say, so he quickly said, I called Xinyan just now, and she said, she only sees you as a good friend, and she has a fiancé. Fiancé? Kong Xiaolong? Lin Yi had always known about it, but he didn't think much of it. House Kong had become yesterday's flower, and there was nothing they could do about it. Dr. Kang's medical company was also on its last legs. This small family was basically on the decline. Why would Xin Yan still take this engagement seriously? Yup, that's what she said. She said that it was her parents who decided it. She didn't want to put them in a difficult position, and she agreed to it. Meng Yao said, I see. Lin Yi frowned. He felt that something was wrong, but he couldn't put his finger on it. Theoretically speaking, Wang Xinyan and Xiaolong's relationship wasn't very harmonious. Otherwise, if the two had really become a couple, Wang Xinyan's personality wouldn't allow her to do so many ambiguous things with him. Even if she didn't break off their relationship, she wouldn't do it again and again. But with their current relationship, it was only a matter of time before Lin Yi and Xinyan became a couple. Xinyan didn't give a clear answer, but her actions had more or less revealed some problems. But Wang Xinyan refused, and the reason she gave him was so ridiculous, but it made sense at the same time. Marriage. It was a good reason, but Lin Yi felt that it was a little strange. That's all she said, and she told me not to force her. Meng Yao smiled bitterly. I'm sorry, I couldn't complete the mission you entrusted to me. Forget it, it's nothing. Let's focus on Shu's problem first. Lin Yi waved his hand. He wondered if Xinyan had some difficulties, or was there something she was hiding? But Meng Yao probably wouldn't be able to get an answer out of her, so it was up to Lin Yi to figure out himself. With that, Lin Yi stood up and walked to the place where Shu knocked over the teacup. He bent down and sniffed the ground, frowning as if he was in deep thought. But after a while, Lin Yi stood up. Before Meng Yao could ask, Lin Yi spoke first. Don't talk about it. Shu might be back. Lin Yi heard the familiar sound of a car and knew that Shu was back. Okay, let's not talk about it later. Meng Yao stood up and followed Lin Yi out of the villa. Chapter 2406. Yushu had just parked the car when she saw Lin Yi and Meng Yao walking out of the villa together. She jumped. Shield. Shield, bro, you're back. You and Yao couldn't wait? No, I just came back. Lin Yi looked at the panicking Shu, and his heart skipped a beat. Shu was indeed acting a little strange today. Let's eat together then, I bought it all. Eat it while it's hot. It'll be bad if it gets cold. Yushu said as she got out of the car. Sure. Lin Yi nodded. He walked into the villa's dining room with Meng Yao and Yushu. Meng Yao was a little surprised when she opened the food Yushu had bought. Shu, you went to a tea restaurant? Yeah. I went to a Hong Kong tea restaurant and bought some snacks and food for a change. Yushu said, That's good. It's been a while since I've eaten these things. Meng Yao nodded. Before Lin Yi moved into the villa, she and Shu would go to restaurants, tea restaurants, and Western restaurants whenever Faubert had something to do. It had been a while since they had that kind of lifestyle. Yeah, that's why Shu bought it today. Chill, bro, let's eat together. Shu's hungry. Yushu nodded. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. He got the utensils from the kitchen and sat at the dining table. The three of them started digging in. But Lin Yi frowned after the first bite of the teriyaki chicken rice Yushu bought. He was about to say something when Yushu asked, Shield, bro, how's the taste? Is it good? Oh, it's pretty good. Lin Yi wanted to say something, but decided against it in the end. He lowered his head and went back to eating. That's good. Yushu nodded. Meng Yao blinked curiously as she pondered over the strange conversation between the two. There wasn't anything wrong with the conversation, but Meng Yao felt that something wasn't right. She couldn't put her finger on it, but she didn't know what it was. However, Lin Yi knew that something was amiss. This was because he had tasted a familiar taste from the chicken drumstick rice. Resting grass was exactly what Lin Yi lacked before he started cultivating the art of dragon mastery. It was a very rare medicine. Although Lin Yi had not personally tasted its taste, he had read about it many times from the information. Moreover, Lin Yi still remembered it vividly. He had almost gone mad because of the benzodiac grass, so he naturally could not forget the taste of the benzodiac grass. This time, Lin Yi suddenly tasted this kind of taste in the chicken drumstick rice, and he was a little confused. Although the benzodiac grass had the effect of calming the mind, it was only for the art of dragon mastery. If it were someone else, eating the benzodiac grass would be no different from taking sleeping pills. They would feel sleepy and fall asleep very quickly. There weren't too many side effects, but the person who took it would fall into a deep sleep. Even if there was an earthquake or thunder, they might not wake up. So, naturally, it was very strange for a medicine like this to be used in a tea house's chicken drumstick rice. Lenny knew that some nourishing restaurants would put important things in their food that could help with sleep, such as acanthophanax, schisandra, and jujube seeds. However, those were only supplementary things, and they wouldn't make the person fall asleep immediately. This zodiac grass, on the other hand, was different. This thing was even more powerful than sleeping pills. If the restaurant put this thing in the food, wouldn't the customers fall asleep after eating? However, the reason why Lin didn't ask was because he was suspicious of Shu. When Lin was eating, Shu watched him eat. Although it could be understood that Shu wanted to know if the food she bought suited Lin Yi's taste. And in fact, Yushu did ask Lin Yi about it after the meal, but Lin Yi still felt that something was wrong. However, Lin Yi quickly finished the chicken drumstick rice in front of him and ate a lot of the side dishes that Yushu brought back. Meng Yao's appetite was relatively small, and she was full after eating half of the big box of chicken drumstick rice. Shield bro, are you full? Why don't you eat Yao Yao sis's too? Yushu looked at the remaining half box of chicken drumstick rice and asked Lin Yi. Shu. Meng Yao frowned. Let's eat then. I'm a little hungry anyway. Lin Yi nodded and didn't say anything else. He took the chicken drumstick rice in front of Meng Yao and started eating. Meng Yao's mouth opened in shock. Did she just kiss Lin Yi indirectly again? But this time, she didn't hate him as much as before. There was only a slight feeling of love, and it made her blush. The reason Lin Yi brought Meng Yao's chicken drumstick rice over wasn't because he wanted to play some indirect kissing game, but because he wanted to see if there was any benzoin in it. If there wasn't, then it meant that there was something wrong with his chicken drumstick rice, and Yushu would be the first suspect. If there was, then Lin Yi didn't want Meng Yao to eat too much of it. It wasn't a bad thing, but it wouldn't be fun if Meng Yao woke up late for school tomorrow. As for the benzoin, Lin Yi didn't really care about it. It wouldn't affect him at all if he ate too much of it, and it would only help with the art of dragon mastery. Lin Yi had been lacking this herb a long time ago, and now he had it. Lin Yi finished the chicken drumstick rice in 2 or 3 bites and stood up. I'm going back to my room to practicing. You guys rest early too. So many things happened today, it's quite tiring. Yeah, yawn. Now that you mention it, I'm feeling a little sleepy too. Meng Yao yawned, thinking that Lin Yi had infected her. Okay, but Lin Yi knew that Meng Yao was sleepy because of the benzoin. It'd be weird if she wasn't sleepy, but Lin Yi noticed that Yushu wasn't doing anything wrong. At least, Lin Yi couldn't see any signs of tiredness in her eyes. Logically speaking, the benzoin should have taken effect already, but Lin Yi didn't say anything. He and Yao Yao had noticed Yushu's weird behavior a long time ago, and so they decided not to bring it up. They went straight to the bedroom. Yawn. Yushu yawned before turning to Meng Yao. Yao Yao, Shu's sleepy too. Let's go to bed. Okay. Meng Yao nodded and went upstairs with Yushu. Chapter 2407. Meng Yao, however, wasn't as observant as Lin Yi. She didn't realize that Yushu wasn't sleepy at all. Lin Yi went back to his room and started channeling the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. But today, Lin Yi was paying extra attention to the movements in the villa. Shu was too weird today, especially the resting grass in her food. Lin Yi wanted to see what Shu was up to. After channeling the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, Lin Yi suddenly realized that his training efficiency was very high today. Although Lin Yi split a part of his attention to the movements in the villa, today's training was twice the result with half the effort. It was as if Xin Yan was training beside him. The speed was so fast that Lin Yi was speechless, but Lin Yi understood after thinking about it. Before practicing the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, he needed the resting grass, but Lin Yi didn't use it and replaced it with something else, causing him to go berserk. After that, he recovered, but Lin Yi still didn't have the resting grass in his body. So now that he suddenly took the resting grass, it had the same effect as before. It allowed him to channel the second stage of the art of dragon mastery more efficiently. This was actually the herb he'd used when he first started using the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, in order to reduce the side effects. But now that he was very familiar with it, the resting grass was twice the result with half the effort. Of course, this was only the first time he used it. The art of dragon mastery didn't mention that the resting grass could help with training. It was only mentioned once. After that, the effects of the resting grass were even more out of Lin Yi's expectations. Lin Yi had just broken through to Earth class mid-phase peak. Logically speaking, stabilizing his strength and breaking through to Earth class mid-phase peak should take a long time. At least, that was the case before. From Earth class mid-phase peak to Earth class mid-phase peak was a lot faster with the help of Xinyan's fragrance. But Lin Yi didn't think that the resting grass would allow him to break through from Earth class mid-phase peak to Earth class late phase peak. Right now, he was only one step away from Earth class late phase. Lin Yi didn't know if he should laugh or cry. It didn't matter who planted the resting grass. It indirectly helped Lin Yi, stabilizing Lin Yi's training. This feels so good. Lin Yi let out a long sigh of relief. This training speed was almost the same as riding a helicopter, but Lin Yi knew that this kind of opportunity was hard to come by. If he used the resting grass in the future, it wouldn't have this effect anymore. After all, this was a special case. Looking at the time, it was already midnight. He didn't think that time would pass so quickly. Lin Yi sensed the situation in the villa's living room. It was still quiet, there was no movement. But the silence was short. After a while, Lin Yi heard clear footsteps. It was Shu's footsteps. Lin Yi had lived in the villa for a long time, and he could hear Shu's and Yao Yao's footsteps very clearly. Shu was tiptoeing, but Lin Yi could still hear it clearly in the quiet night, and he was using his perception in the jade space. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment before closing his eyes and lying on the bed quietly. His breathing was even as he snored, as if he was in a deep sleep. After a while, Lin Yi's door was opened softly. In the villa, Lin Yi didn't have the habit of locking the door. From the jade space, Lin Yi could see that it was Shu. This didn't surprise Lin Yi, but he was a little surprised Yushu's face was no longer cute and playful. Instead, it was replaced with worry and nervousness. She stood at the door, thinking about something. After thinking for a long time, she sighed softly and walked into Lin Yi's room. In Yushu's hand, there was a sharp knife. Under the moonlight, it shined with a green light. Yushu quietly came to Lin Yi's side and looked at the sleeping Lin Yi. Her eyes flashed with a complicated expression, as if she was going through the last struggle in her heart. Although Lin Yi was still pretending to be asleep, he was actually paying attention to Yushu's every move. When he saw Yushu walking over with a sharp knife in her hand, he couldn't help but be shocked. Of course, Lin Yi wasn't afraid of the knife in Yushu's hand. He was just shocked. What was Yushu going to do with a knife? In fact, Lin Yi could roughly guess what was going on. Was Shu trying to kill him? This was probably the only explanation. Otherwise, why would Yushu appear in his room with a knife at this time? Especially in the chicken drumstick rice from before, there was the existence of the sleeping medicine, benzoin. Yushu took a deep breath and silently raised the knife in her hand. Her heart was beating fast, and her breathing was rapid. The hand holding the knife was shaking nonstop. One could see how intense the struggle in her heart was. Phew! Yushu finally couldn't endure the pain in her heart anymore. She put down the knife in her hand and breathed heavily. She stared at the sleeping Lin Yi in a daze. After a long time, Yushu calmed down and slowly raised the knife again, aiming at Lin Yi's chest. At this time, Lin Yi finally confirmed that Shu wanted to kill him. But what reason did she have? Lin Yi couldn't figure it out. He really couldn't figure it out. If it was said that Shu liked him, then Lin Yi would believe it. But if it was said that Shu could assassinate him, Lin Yi really didn't believe it. All along, Yushu's behavior and their relationship had determined that this would never happen. But something that shouldn't have happened just like that. Lin Yi remembered the smell on the floor. It was similar to the smell of poison. Although he wiped it clean, there was still some residue. However, Lin Yi wasn't very sure, and he couldn't lick the floor. But at this moment, Lin Yi also guessed that the tea was probably poisoned by Shu. Otherwise, she wouldn't have acted so strangely. After pouring the tea for him, she snatched it away, and when Meng Yao wanted a drink, she reached out and knocked it away. This proved that Shu was actually very conflicted in her heart, and it matched the current situation. Shu's heart must be conflicted. She must have had her own reasons for doing this. Chapter 24:08. Lin Yi was confused, but he couldn't think of a good reason. Sigh. Shu seemed to be a little discouraged and sighed softly. She put down the knife and looked at Lin Yi with a layer of mist in her eyes. Her big, watery eyes were filled with sadness, a kind of sadness that she had no choice but to do. Lin Yi didn't move. He wanted to see what Shu was going to do. With his strength, he could easily dodge the knife after it landed. Besides, Lin Yi had the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. Even if his heart was pierced, it wouldn't be a big problem as long as he healed in time. Shield bro. Shu still can't do it. Yushu mumbled to herself and shook her head. Shu likes you. Yao Yao likes you too. If you die, Shu will be sad. Yao Yao will be sad too. And Xiao Xiao and Yun Yun sis, they will be sad too. Shu can't bear to see them sad. And I don't want to be sad myself. So, Shu should die. But I don't know if I could drag. Sigh. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Yushu mumbled to herself for a while. How did it end up with her dying? As for who Yin Yin sis was, Lin Yi didn't have the time to think about it. Yushu's voice was very soft, so Lin Yi guessed that she was talking about Yin Yin sis or Wang Xinyan. Chill bro, Shu loves you. Just when Lin Yi was wondering, Yushu suddenly lowered her body and sealed Lin Yi's mouth with her lips. She quickly pulled away, as if she was afraid of waking Lin Yi up. Yushu's sudden confession and bold action shocked Lin Yi. Although he also felt that Shu seemed to like him, he had never confessed so formally before. He even used the word love instead of like. All right, although Shu wants to be a mistress for the rest of her life, Shu's not as lucky as Xiao Xiao's. After Shu dies, she'll appear in Shield Bro's dreams and have sex with Shield Bro in her dreams. Yushu continued talking to herself. Lin Yi heard Yushu's words. Lin Yi almost couldn't hold back his laughter. This little Shu, just a moment ago she was so sad, and the next moment she said such a funny thing. It really made Lin Yi speechless. Yushu stared blankly at Lin Yi for a moment before turning around as if she'd made up her mind. She walked towards the door of Lin Yi's room. Her footsteps were heavy and determined, and her petite figure made one's heart ache. Shu! Lin Yi couldn't help but open his eyes and call out to her. Ah! Yushu was shocked. She didn't think that Lin Yi would wake up at this time. Her body froze subconsciously, and the knife in her hand fell to the ground uncontrollably. It made a crisp sound in the quiet night. It was extremely ear-piercing. Shu, what are you doing? Lin Yi tried to make his voice sound calm, as if he had just woken up. Not sleeping in the middle of the night? What are you doing in my room? What's that on the ground? A knife? Are you trying to kill me? Lin Yi's tone was teasing as if he was joking, but Yushu's heart jumped when she heard it. Yeah, what am I doing? Oh, I know, Shu is sleepwalking. I was dreaming just now, and I dreamt that there's a monster in Shield Bro's room. So I came to help Shield Bro fight the monster. Sleepwalking? You have this kind of habit? Lin Yi listened to Yushu's poor attempt at covering it up. He didn't expose her immediately, but asked instead. Oh, yeah. Shu seems to have some problem with her body since she was young. Shield Bro, can you take a look at me? Aren't you a miracle doctor? Yushu turned around and extended her hand to Lin Yi. Lin Yi looked at her expectant gaze, and it didn't seem to be fake. He paused for a moment. This wasn't the first time Shu asked him to check her body. There were a few times before, but Lin Yi didn't think much of it. But Shu's strange fever made Lin Yi suspicious. Although Shu was cured after taking some special medicine and said that it was a problem since she was young, Lin Yi was still puzzled. He had never seen a problem like this before. Okay, Lin Yi didn't reject this time. He grabbed Yushu's hand and checked her pulse, carefully checking it. But it didn't take long for the results to come out. Yushu's body was very healthy, and there weren't any problems at all. The only thing he could say was that she had too much energy, or that she had too much energy. Shu, you're not sick, Lin Yi said, and you should be sleeping well. Theoretically speaking, you shouldn't sleepwalk. Also, there's a medicine called benzoin in the chicken drumstick rice that we ate at night. This medicine has the effect of calming the mind. After taking it, not to mention sleepwalking, you might not even have time to go to the toilet. It's not impossible for you to wet your bed. Ah, what benzoin? Yushu was shocked, and a flash of panic appeared in her eyes. She didn't think that Lin Yi could even tell that there was benzoin in the chicken rice. You don't know? Lin Yi asked. I don't know anything. Yushu gritted her teeth and didn't admit it. Shu, are you suspecting that you are sick? Lin Yi didn't dwell on the question. Maybe. Yushu shook her head. Shield bro, did you just wake up? Did I wake you up? Yeah. Lin Yi hesitated, but he didn't expose Yushu. He only asked, Shu, you seem to have something on your mind? Did you run into some trouble? It's nothing. I can deal with it myself. It's just that I'm a little nervous these days. Yushu said, okay. It was obvious that she was hiding something. She didn't want to say it, and Lin Yi didn't want to force her. Shu was that kind of person. If she wanted to say it, you didn't need to ask her. If she didn't want to say it, it was useless no matter how you asked. Plus, Lin Yi could tell that Yushu had her own difficulties, and she didn't have any bad intentions towards him. If she really had bad intentions, she wouldn't have spilled the teacup the first time they drank tea, and the second time in his bedroom, she wouldn't have stabbed him with a knife. Perhaps she was forced into a corner, or perhaps she was threatened. Lin Yi could only speculate. Lin Yi didn't force her, because he knew that Yushu's trouble wasn't small. You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.